Okay.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world. It's my own design. It's my own remorse. Help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Well, welcome everybody to the show. Today we have obviously Chance with us because duh, and we have Al with us today because duh, and we got Chance on the comments. So let's have everybody.
That was a cool opening, Sarah.
No, thank you.
That was. I love the original.
Everybody wants to rule the world. That was a song by what
Tears
was
for
that?
Fears.
Yeah, Tears. That was a great
Mhm.
song too.
Hey,
Yeah,
to my cool dog. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say. Just say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hello to
We're
cool
here.
my cool
That's-
dog, and hello to
that's another-
Danny Staten in South Carolina.
Yeah, Danny's in here. Let's see.
Mm.
Brandon.
Hello to Snark and Sass. I
Bud.
love her YouTube
Yeah.
channel. She's a nice lady and a funny lady. Hello, Snark. Want to
Snark. I love that.
Yeah, Snark. She's awesome.
Bud Chronicles 420 says hey to Sarah. My fly.
It's like, yeah.
I think so, folks.
Cursed Zero. What a cool name. I like that handle, Cursed Zero.
Yeah, some people they have some really cool handles on here. You know that?
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Hello to Sunny Stormy. She says,
Sunny
hey,
Stormy. Yeah.
welcome back to Brandon Priest Garbage Truck
Truck
Video.
videos. Oh, God.
He's got awesome garbage truck videos. Like I said, I used to want to be a garbage man, like with my brother back in the day, dude.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously they stopped running out, hanging on the back, on the side of the garbage trucks, right? And they did the
Right.
arms and all that shiz.
Oh.
But he still puts up videos of that. I think it's still pretty cool to this day. I don't really care who you are. That trash pickup is kind of based, okay? If they don't do it, who will? I'm not. I'm lazy.
So what are we talking about today? Do you have a video presentation, or should I play my little trailer, Sarah? What do you think?
Well,
Hello to MPA Asian Artist. Hello. MPA
Yeah.
Asian Artist is in the house.
You're welcome.
Tommy
And,
Temper
welcome.
says, what's up?
Tommy Temper. Yay.
You're welcome. Yeah, I was gonna let you guys start off first because I know I was gonna get to bed early because I live in the past. Nobody else seems to. So, do you guys do your stuff first, and then I'll get mine, and then we'll end the show. You know how we do.
Well, let's just show a quick video that will, tip off what we're talking about in case those can't read the subject line. I've got this little video I want to play. If I could freaking find it, what'd I do with it? Here it is. Now, there's 20 seconds of dead air, so we got to talk a little bit. There's 20 seconds. I couldn't edit out, but let's watch this together. Let me put the mics back on.
I got it. But then you guys muted yourselves.
I'm trying to get Al's mic on.
He'll have to unmute himself. That's his job to unmute himself.
Al unmute. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Things to fix in the world now anyway. Here's what we're talking about.
Who are we? You are obsolete.
Who is it? Who's there? Hello?
My name is Tina, and I'm going to kill you.
I'm a mannequin. That's what I am. I'm a
I
mannequin.
know we're being stalked.
Incredible! Race of giants here! Race of giants!
Just over that rim there, about 100 yards.
This aircraft has gone back into time.
You're 10 years old again, Pip. How come you're 10 years old
All
again?
the time I need and all the time I want. Time.
Look!
Time.
Look, I swear it isn't me! I swear it
You had no dream catcher.
It's a cookbook. When will I take the bandages off?
I believe you're going my way.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone.
Isn't that a cool intro?
It is.
That's from the Laserdisc. I'll show later in the show. I have all the old Laserdisc, but they had a cool little promo from like 1990. I love that.
Well,
Very well
did
edited.
you shoot that with your camera? Did you had it feed into your computer? How did you do that?
I just someone had put it on YouTube.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't from my Laserdisc.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying it's on the Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got some comments. So that's what we're talking about. So Twilight Zone. What are your favorite episodes? Tommy Temper says Rod Serling. That's right. Let's go around. Sarah and Al, what are your favorite episodes?
Well, it's hard to pick a favorite episode. I like so many of them. I don't know. If I could pick a favorite, probably it would be, I like The Hitchhiker. The Inger Stevens. That's one of my favorites.
I have an image from that.
Where she meets the Grim Reaper.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's the Grim Reaper. Yeah, in theory, but it's a dude. Just
in theory, yes, it's a dude, but he's not dressed in a Grim Reaper because she has a car accident, and she doesn't know she died. Remember, because she calls her mother, and a lady answers the phone, and she can't talk to her mother because the lady says, "Well, my daughter was killed in an auto accident."
Yeah, she was driving across the country,
and she was driving across the country, so she didn't realize she was dead, but she was.
I believe you're going my way.
Yeah.
With his line. And she picks up the sailor who's hitchhiking too. And he's like, man, he thinks she's nuts. And he's like, I want to arrive alive. You're speeding. And he gets out of the car.
Wow.
Here's a cool book. Look, my copy's beat up. This is from December 1982. It's called The Twilight Zone Companion. I'm going to show a lot of pictures from this book along with video by Mark Scott Zicree, and you have that book, but a later edition, don't you, Al? You want to hold that up for the camera right fast, quick?
Well, if you push it back on there, here it is.
Hang on, make you big. Wait a minute.
There it is.
There you go.
And
Sarah's going to get pissed. I did it the wrong way.
Some of the stuff that
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I also have all 156 episodes in this box set.
Dang. Wow. Nice.
And what's cool about this box set, on the end credits, it has Rod Serling talking about the next week's show, and then it shows the end credits, and then at the end, announcer will say, like, "Make room for Daddy." He'll say, "Watch Make Room for Daddy" on most of these same stations, which is CBS program. That or Wanted Dead or Alive. It's kind of cool.
Wow. I like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let me just start at the beginning. The pilot episode was called "Where Is Everybody?" with Earl Holliman.
Yes.
And it's kind of like the Last Man on Earth kind of story. Everyone's seen it. This is so old hat. Look, it aired back on October 2nd, 1959. Very first episode, first one that was filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little picture there. And this guy's really in an experiment, spoiler alert, by the U.S. military, whether or not he can handle isolation. And he's in a chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who did the first season. That's just a quick listing.
That wasn't one of my favorite episodes. I like Earl Holliman, but that wasn't really one of my favorites.
I like this one a lot. This was the second one produced. It wasn't in aired order. It aired later on in season 1, but it's called Lonely.
Tommy Temper said Time Enough at Last was his favorite, but anyway.
This was, Time Enough at Last. That's one of Sarah's favorites.
Yeah, that's
one with
Burgess Meredith, yes.
With the nuclear bomb, and he busts his glasses. And he finally had all the time to read all the books.
He worked in a bank, and he always was reading books and stuff, and then it had a big atomic explosion, and then
he was safe in the bank vault.
He was safe, and then they had all these books scattered everywhere.
I use that picture of him when he's standing out there with this, like what just happened look on the thumbnail. I just freaking love that episode for sure, yeah.
So this one on camera here is called The Lonely, and Jack Warden from the movies. I loved him in that movie Problem Child. He played John Ritter's character's dad. He owned all these like sporting good chains of stores. Anyway, but before that, he was in this Twilight Zone where he's a criminal, and he's been sentenced to live on an asteroid the rest of his life sentence. And one of the well-meaning guards sends him a robot woman to keep him company, played by Jean Marsh. And unfortunately, he falls in love with the robot, and he is actually paroled, and he can go back home, and he doesn't want to leave. He tells the Earthmen who have come to take him back home, he's like, "No, I'm not leaving. We're happy here." And his buddy's like, "Dude, she's a robot." And so he takes his gun out and blasts her right in the face, revealing all the wires and the circuitry.
Dang.
You never seen that one, Sarah?
Yeah, I have, but it's been a while.
But
I've seen them all.
And it reminded me, a few years later on the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman, the Fembots.
Right?
Had to sneak that in.
Hey, well, Fembots are awesome.
Rod Serling, after season 1, he won an Emmy, and he'd already won 3 other Emmys for other television projects he had done. But there he is with an Emmy for The Twilight Zone. But first season, God, I know I had other pictures from the first season. I can't find them right now. There's so many good ones.
The season 1 was good. Let's see.
Did you guys ever? I don't know what season it was, but it was this one where these kids were swimming in the pool, and then they go into a fictional land, and they get lost in the land that they like it so much, and then their parents keep fighting over who gets custody of them, so they just swim off into the pool, into the fictional land of where this old lady takes care of everybody.
Oh yeah.
That
Bewitching
one?
Pool, the Bewitching Pool, season 5.
Okay, that one, and the other one that I really like that I see a lot of is this one where the guy is writing Twilight Zone as it happens, and then deletes Rod Serling on the typewriter, and he hits like the typewriter backspace or something. I forget that one. I've only seen that one once, but it was like the best. I can't think of what it's called, but it's one I asked people about. Nobody ever remembers it, and I'm like, but I saw it. And my mom saw it.
I believe you. And there were a lot of cool guest stars in the Twilight Zone before there were stars, like Robert Redford, but that he came along in season 3. But he had episodes that dealt with like Western themes, not just science fiction.
It dealt with the Civil War. It dealt with a lot of great subjects,
life and death, time travel. But your Hitchhiker you mentioned, Al, that was the 10th episode that was produced. And I have it on 16 millimeter film.
All right, before we get started, that Rod Serling narrated the show, correct? We all know that.
Yeah.
But did you know that they really wanted Orson Welles? And the network liked Orson Welles, the sponsors liked Orson Welles. But when he sat down with the executives, there was a money problem. And he wanted way more money than their budget would allow. And so, like it says here, that narrators were suggested who would be within the budget, but the choice was satisfactory to all concerned. But Rod Serling, he didn't want them to spend more money. They said, well, maybe you should narrate the show. And that's how it happened. Orson Welles never did because he wanted way too much money to narrate the show.
What a cool story.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I think he would have been well with it, but I can't see him doing it now after all these years. Can you?
No, we will serve no wine before it's time. Remember Orson Welles doing those TV spots?
Oh, yeah.
One of you guys want to read the comment on the screen?
Let me see.
You still got me on the screen. Give us the group shot back.
No, I can put the comment on the screen.
The comment is on the screen. It just read the comment.
There's that picture you showed, I think, a while ago, isn't it?
Yeah, of the robot.
Yeah.
That was the Lonely God. I'm so behind on comments. I'm sorry, folks.
Just read the one that's on the screen right now. The one I just put up there.
Snark and Sass, I love her channel. Was the bet a Twilight Zone? Two guys make a bet. One guy won't talk. Yes, and that's The Silence in season 3. And Jonathan Harris, future Dr. Smith, is in that. And I have a picture from that one. Since you mentioned that, I'm going out of order, but that's okay. I love that episode. It might have been, here it is, The Silence. That's the one she's talking about. There's the bet. This guy, and I got an interesting anecdote about the guy on the left, French, not Tone. He was an alcoholic and a drunk in real life, and he got into a fight in a bar while they were filming this episode, and half of his face was all scratched up, and they had to film, not in this shot. That happened like a day before his bar fight during the week they were filming this, and so they had to film him from one side because his face was all messed up. I guess he lost the fight. But
I guess he lost the fight.
Let me look this up. The Silence.
That's actually pretty funny. If he lost the fight too.
I can't remember if it's season 1 or 2, and I want to know. I'm a nerd like that. The Silence. Let me look that up. But Al, another good first season episode was the one with the gambling, the living slot machine. Franklin, you watched that the other night.
It's called The Fever.
Yeah.
Everett Sloan plays, he's married and his wife wins a trip to Las Vegas, all expenses paid. And he's totally against it. And so they get to Vegas and they go to, gamble. And Everett Sloan's character says, well, this is just a waste of time, a waste of money. All they do is take your money, never give you money. And so he's standing by this slot machine and this one guy puts his money in and the whole pile of money comes back out. And Everett Sloan's character looks at it and says, So he goes over and tries it. To make a long story short, he gets hooked. And he stays up all night long playing the slot machine, but he never wins. He couldn't win any more money after he won the first time, but it takes all his money. He runs out of money. He goes over to the clerk, writes a check for more money, puts more money in the slot machine, and he's hooked. And so he finally goes back to his bedroom and he hears this voice, Franklin.
Yeah.
And it's in his head that the machine is calling him back to put more money in. And
and he's like a religious zealot, though. It's sort of hinted, hello, nocturnal Miss, so that he's a religious zealot. He's all like on his high horse, like gambling's a sin, but he gets hooked.
But he gets hooked. And to make a long story short, it takes his life because he wakes up in his room and he hears this voice, Franklin.
It pushes him out the window.
And he opens the room door, and the machine comes at him, but really in his mind. The machine really is not there, but he pushes him up to the window, and he falls out and gets killed.
Yeah, and it beckons to him, Franklin. But getting back to...
he had that gambling fever. That's why it was called The Fever.
Getting back to what Snarky was saying about, I did a terrible job setting up the plot of this episode that she was asking about. So... All right, they're in a club. This is an exclusive club. These are all wealthy people. And the guy on the left, the actor who got roughed up and, they had to shoot him from one side in most of the scenes of the episode. There's a guy talking in the club, and he's like getting so annoyed. And he's like, will you please shut the hell up? And he makes a bet with him. He goes, I bet you cannot shut up for a week. I think it's a week. It might have been a month. It could have been a month. I've seen it like 50 times. I can't believe it. I can't remember the duration, but it's irrelevant. He makes a bet. He says, if you can keep your damn mouth shut, I will give you $1 million. And I'm probably wrong about that figure, but let's just, doesn't matter, relevant, $1 million. And so the twist is the guy wins the bet. The guy wins the bet, but the guy don't have the money to pay him. And he'd already slit his vocal cords. And that's the big twist at the end. He takes a scarf off, revealing a huge scar. And he'd severed his vocal cords because he needed the money. And then the son of a bitch old man lied, didn't have the money to pay him.
Oh, the moral of the story is don't take everything at face value. How about that?
You can read, if you're watching on TV, you can read some of the narration there about the plot. Anyway, it's on the screen right there. But that was a second season episode, actually, not a third season episode. But
well, another good episode from the first season was called Judgment Night. Remember that one?
Yeah.
It takes place in 1942, and the German officer, he relives the sinking of his ship, or the submarine, every single night for the rest of his life. Remember seeing that one?
Yeah,
dude, that sounds very familiar.
It's portrayed by Jeremiah.
It's like the 30 fathom grave, I thought. No,
it's called Judgment Night.
Okay, my bad.
And that's from the first season. And it's a wonderful war episode. It takes place in 1942, but he sank this ship, and then then his submarine was sank, and he has to relive that over and over every single night. He wakes up and it's the same thing every single night. And a young James Franciscus has got a small part in it. It's called Judgment Night. It's a great one because it's on the water. It's on it's on a ship, and you got the fog and the water. It's got a lot of atmosphere to it. Judgment Night.
Wow. I like the Purple Testament in season 1. That was a war episode.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a very good one.
Dick York is in it before Bewitched. Mm-hmm. And he did a couple Twilight Zones. He did a season 2 episode where he could read people's thoughts. Like he's flipping a coin by a newsstand and it lands on its side. Mm-hmm. And when the coin's on its side, you can hear people read their minds and hear their thoughts. And, but he was in one called The Purple Testament in season 1. And he sees a glow around people that are about to die. And it's haunting him. And he hurt his back doing that episode, Dick York. And he got hooked on painkillers because of the film.
Oh, crap.
And that kind of did him in, I guess, the rest of his life.
Well, they had to replace him in Bewitched because he wasn't showing up to work. And they had to prop him up on a board. It's all in the Bewitched book by Herbie Pilato. I've read it many times. It's sad. And I think he died in 1992, Dick York did.
Right.
Here's a cool image of Rod Serling with our buddy Robbie the Robot.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie the Robot appeared in a few episodes. Of course, he was introduced in the movie Forbidden Planet. A guy named Rob Kinoshita designed Robbie the Robot, who also designed the robot on Lost in Space.
And Sarah, your first favorite episode was in the first season, Time Enough at Last, with Burgess Meredith.
Yes,
that was in the first season. He was a ferocious reader, and he worked in the bank, and the bank teller was always getting after him for reading between when he was not helping somebody at the teller window, and so he hides himself in the safe before the bomb went off, and so then all these books are scattered about, and he's just thrilled that he's got all these books to read. But
I'm having deja vu. We talked about it, yeah.
I know, but I was going to say, but his glasses fall off and he breaks them. We're talking about season 1. That's why I brought it up.
Okay.
And then he can't really read the books because his glasses are all broken. And he had Time Enough at Last.
Yep. He was going to kill himself too before he realized he could read all the books. It was pretty funny. Oh, and then his glasses break, and then he's like, I'm boned. Yeah. But think about that too. I mean, assuming that the nuclear blast, wiped everybody out, it's amazing how the book survived. I don't really understand that. But hey, whatever. Good one nonetheless.
Another favorite of mine from season 1 was the 16 millimeter Shrine.
People explain what 16 millimeter is.
Well, 16 millimeter Shrine is an episode with Isla Lupino, and she plays an aging actress. And she lives in the past, and all she does is she lives in this big mansion with a projector, a 16 millimeter projector, and she sits there watching her old movies over and over. She lives in a world that's passed her by, but she watches her old movies every night at home. And then one of her co-stars she hooks up with him on the phone, and he comes to visit her. And of course, she's aged, and he was a dashing young actor, but he's older now. And he shows up, and she's shocked to see that he's really old, because she's
living in the past. Yeah,
living in the past. To make a long story short, she goes crazy, and so her helper in the house, she's in there watching a movie one night, and the lady that lives with her in the house, she comes into the room where the projector is, and the projector is running, but she's not in the room. And then the lady looks up on the screen, and there is Ida Lupino's character back in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, and it's called
she was a washed up actor. She was a has-been.
Right. But women usually, when they get older, they lose their looks. Producers and directors don't want them anymore. But anyway, she lived in the
horrible thing to say. What a
she lived in the past, and it was just kind of wonderful. And she sat there and just watched her old movies. Kind of like the movie Sunset Boulevard.
Now, why do you like that one? Because you like 16 millimeter film. We're film collectors.
It deals with, and it had if I remember correctly, she had a Bell & Howell 179 projector, and I have one of those. It's an older model projector, and it's kind of cool to see it running.
See, Al's a gearhead, and he collects all sorts of projectors. He has tons of projectors, modern ones too, digital projectors as well as 16 millimeter film. So I guess that's the main reason, from a technical standpoint, why you like. Because that wasn't one of my favorite episodes. That's just me.
I liked it. Well, we all like different episodes for different reasons.
I mean, did you really think that was a good story? I'm not busting your balls here. I'm just
asking. It was, because it's about aging. It's about getting older.
Well, they did a lot of.
It's something we all have to accept. We're
right.
We don't, each day goes by, we're a day older.
Well, they did that with Walking Distance, the third episode in season 1, with Gig Young, who was a terrible drunk in real life. He was married to Elizabeth Montgomery. That was one of her many ex-husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes in this town and he sees himself as a child.
Right.
Anyway, so they dealt with that subject matter a lot, about aging and coming to grips with it. Like the Trade-Ins, an episode with an elderly couple and Kick the Can, that was redone in Twilight Zone, the movie we'll talk about later.
That was good. That was a good one. That's about aging.
That's season 3. Oh, that was one of the best ones about aging. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm trying to upload some photos. We were so late, and it's my fault. I took a lot of photos of.
Can I talk about another favorite episode of mine?
Absolutely, please help me.
Please.
It's called A Nice Place to Visit, with Larry Blyden as an actor. What he is, he's kind of a thug. He's a criminal, and so he gets convicted, goes to prison, and he gets executed. He dies. But he wakes up, he was a gambler. He liked going out with all the ladies, he was just, and so he didn't, he would gamble a lot, didn't win a lot of, anyway, he got convicted and was killed. And so the next scene is he's gambling, making all this money. He has all these girls around him. He's just having the time of his life. I mean, this is just something he adores. He just, oh my God, I'm winning now. I got all this money. I got all this fame. I got all these girlfriends and stuff like that. And it comes to a point where he gets tired of it. He says, I win all the time. I never lose. I just it's driving me crazy. Why do I always win? And, it has one of my favorite actors, Sebastian Cabot's in it, from Family Affair. And so he thinks he's in heaven. He died, and he thinks he's in heaven. And Sebastian Cabot's there talking to him, and he says, this heaven I don't like. I want to go to the other place. And then Sebastian Cabot says, my good man, what makes you think you're in heaven? In other words, he was in hell because it was driving him crazy. I love it. My good man. What makes you think you're in heaven? It's a great one.
That is a good one.
A Nice Place to Visit. It was a great show. That was from 1960.
That reminds me of the song Hotel California. The wonderful place you never
check
leave.
Out, but you can never leave.
But I was like the Casino Royale or whatever it was called in Star Trek too, when when alien species made a fictional land out of a book. About Casino Royale or something about, the cheap hookers and gambling and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they could never leave it until they played out completely the story of the book. So,
and they stab the beast with their steely knives. You just can't kill the beast.
Yep. God, that's a great song.
Man, I have a lot of clips to share with you guys. I've been so distracted here. Al, please tell me more about first season. We'll get on to the second season.
But another one from the second season, that I like was called The Howling Man.
Well, okay. Anything season one? Or are you done with season one?
Well, no, there's more in season one. I didn't know.
Howling Man. Then I didn't care for that one, but that's okay that you did. Why did you like that one?
Well, it's just different. It's about the devil. The devil's been locked away, but he gets released. John Carradine's in it. He's really good in it.
Now, people that are younger will not know who he is, but his son was
Keith Carradine. Was Keith Carradine's his son?
Kung Fu.
Yeah,
he had a lot of sons. But also one of his sons, was in
David Carradine was in the company. Yeah,
right. But one of his other sons was in Revenge of the Nerds. The nerd who put on a mask and basically had his way with this girl, and she was unawares.
Was that David Carradine or Keith Carradine?
I think it was Keith.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't David Carradine, who sadly died in Hong Kong.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Naked.
Mr. Kung Fu.
We'll talk about all that.
That was weird, man. I met him. I met him before. He was actually a nice guy.
Dude, David Carradine is one of those people that my family just absolutely, freaking loved. And when we all heard about the way he died, we're like, oh, well, that's unfortunate, to say the least. Anyways, note to self, die with some type of dignity, whatever that means. But don't do that. There you
go. Don't die jerking off.
Hanging from the closet.
It says here on May 11th, 1980, CBS announced that the Twilight Zone had been renewed for a second season, with General Foods and Colgate Palmolive as sponsors. So it got renewed.
It sure did. It got renewed, and I have an image to share with you. So we're going to move on to season 2. There's only 5 seasons of this show. I got to get to a clip. There's a little write-up. There's the credits of the cast and crew, or not the cast, the crew of season 2 of the Twilight Zone. And here's an interesting little tidbit. Future star of the Beverly Hillbillies, Donna Douglas. Everybody knows this. She was in an episode with these guys.
Well, the mask.
Monsters.
Yeah.
This was an alternate universe where ugly is beautiful and beautiful is ugly, called Eye of the Beholder.
And they saw Donna Douglas and they thought she was ugly.
You just you ain't got no alibi. You ugly.
Yeah, because she looked normal. To them, those faces, they were normal. But when they saw Donna Douglas, who looks beautiful, they said, oh man, she's this poor girl, She's not doing well. She's ugly.
That's right. I always thought that one was a really good one. Although, because I saw this later in my life, obviously, I saw Star Wars before this. It always made me think of the little pig people at the Jabba's palace. Just saying.
Oh yeah, the guards, Jabba's guards. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I guess
it was the 5th aired episode. Eye of the Beholder was the 5th aired episode of season 2, airing on November 11th, 1960, and it was written by the great Rod Serling. He wrote the best ones, I think. But Donna Douglas played a woman having plastic surgery. She's in bandages. I mean, everybody knows this, and she's going, when can you take the bandages off? And so the twist is the bandages come off, and it's beautiful Donna Douglas, future Ellie Mae, a couple years later in the Beverly Hillbillies, but they didn't use her voice because she had a Southern accent. They dubbed over her voice. And then William Shatner, the very next week, guest starred in his first of 2 episodes.
Nick of Time.
Nick of Time, correct.
Yeah,
November 18th, 1960, with the greatest overactor of all time, Mr. William Shatner.
Right.
And he was all into superstition. Here, let me take this off of the screen.
Well, thank you.
It was a pretty good episode, I would think. I mean, most people like his 5th season episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, where he sees the that ridiculous looking monster in the show. It was so terrible, so fake. That little teddy bear, that bear looking outfit of the creature on the wing of the plane.
Yep, the gremlin.
But in Nick of Time, he's just a guy who is trapped by his own superstition in a diner.
Yeah,
and again, the devil seems to play a big role in the Twilight Zone. Sorry, Sarah, go ahead. I keep interrupting.
I used that image on the thumbnail as well. The devil is the little thing they give the fortunes out, right? And him and his girlfriend were, first, just thinking it was funny. Then they left the diner and went outside, and they realized that the fortune, said something about beware, won't get hit by a car, some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And then they came back into the diner. Then he starts living his life right there through the fortune. And she's like, okay, let's go and let's use logic here. And she says this really good thing about, are you going to let this thing rule your life, or are you going to make your own life? Be your own man type thing. And he decided that, let's go. Let's not worry about what this says. Let's just go make our own life and future together. And I thought that was the best one ever. Once I realized that was the first time Shatner was there, I was like, why does everyone go, the thing on the wing is like the most important thing ever? Like, but did you see this one? This is like way better, actually.
And that little devil, I mean, again, it's like they always put the devil in certain episodes. And by the way, the next week's episode is the one Al already talked about, The Howling Man, in aired order. It aired the week after Nick of Time, for what it's worth.
I like the episode in season 2 called The Invaders with Agnes Moorehead.
This one right there. There she is.
That's it right there. That's a good episode.
Yeah, I'd pulled
and
that
she's
one.
the only character in the show except for the unseen invaders.
There's no talking in it except for the end. Incredible race of giants here. Race of giants.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what you consider not talking, because I watched the episode back after I heard that there was no talking in it, right? And she makes grunts and noises and shit and semi kind of unaudible type words. So it kind of depends on what you describe as not talking. But yeah, he definitely at the end.
Agnes Moorehead is a wonderful actress. I've liked her just about everything she does. She is so good. And even as Endor and Bewitched.
Oh, you gave it away. You stole my thunder. I was going to ask. What did
she was very good in all of her movies and TV shows.
Wait, 60 to 61, 61, 62, 63.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was 3 years before the start of Bewitched. Bewitched began in the 64 to 65 season. This was 1960 to 1961.
Right. She's a wonderful actress.
Now I want to talk about something. They made a weird change. This is for nerds like Al and I, and Sarah. I don't really consider you a nerd.
Hey, I like being a nerd. Don't short-change me, my nerd. I've earned it.
They made a change in season 2. They switched from film to videotape to save money. And anyone that's watching on a television can read this article. Let me just read a little bit of this. I think it's pretty interesting what they did. A lot of these episodes that were shot on videotape were some of the better ones. But why can't I read this? Where's my... Oh, I'm fucking up bad. Excuse my French.
That was French.
Here we go. Videotape invades the Twilight Zone. In November of 1960, the Twilight Zone tried an experiment. So far, 16 episodes of the second season had been filmed, meaning on film, but all was not well, says Buck Houghton. We were inching up to around $65,000 an episode, which at that time was frightening. In an attempt to cut costs, the network CBS suggested that 6 episodes be done on videotape rather than film. Tape was less expensive than film, and the editing costs were negligible since most editing was done on the spot, switching from camera to camera as in live television. Ultimately, the shows would be transferred from tape to 16mm film for broadcast. If the experiment succeeded, more episodes would be done on tape, thus keeping costs under control. This method had limitations, though. For one thing, I'm going to interject here. Chance Bartels, your co-host. It looked cheap. It looked like a soap opera. Videotape never looks as good as film. Right, Al?
No, film is much better. They were just trying to cut costs, but they figured it didn't work. It didn't look good. And, besides, videotape really deteriorates over time. It doesn't hold up. Videotape gets lines in it sometimes. It's like these vertical horizontal lines that roll up. But anyway, no, they were trying to cut costs, but it just didn't work.
So the first episode that was produced on videotape was one called The Lateness of the Hour. And Inger Stevens returned, who had been in The Hitchhiker, the 10th episode, and aired order, or maybe it was filmed order, I forget, in season 1 with The Hitchhiker, Believe You're Going My Way, and John Hoyt was in it. And then you had Static, which is about radio, a radio episode that was shot on videotape. And then The Whole Truth. This was a funny one because I'm a salesman at heart, and it was about this jerk salesman on a car lot. That was shot on videotape, The Whole Truth. And now here's one of the better ones. I said that some of the best ones were on videotape. Obviously, the ones I just mentioned were not of the best, but I love Night of the Meek. It was the Christmas Twilight Zone with Art Carney as a drunk Santa Claus. That was a videotaped episode.
Yeah. Art Carney had Tourette's. That's why he always was so spazzy with his hands.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. He
There's
said that
a
himself.
There's the first videotape. Go ahead. I'm sorry, dear.
He said that himself on a TV Land, commercial thing about him before he died, obviously.
Wow.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's a shot of Art Carney with 2 kids from that episode. And that's actually a pretty sweet episode. It's kind of sad. And one of the ladies that is in the what do they call it? Not an orphanage, but where drunks can get food and maybe sleep in a cot. It's run by nuns. What do they call that kind of place? A Bowery?
It's a shelter. It's
I guess a shelter.
Yeah, it's just run by the church. I mean, it's
well, the lady playing the piano, Sister Florence, is played by Meg Wiley, who later would play the lead Telosian in Star Trek with the big misshapen head with mental telepathy.
Anyway, JC News says Asylum.
Well, maybe it is an asylum.
And she,
JC News.
She also, Meg Wiley was in The Last Starfighter in the 80s as one of the people living in the trailer park. Anyway.
Great movie.
Yeah. And so the next videotaped episode was one called 22, which had Jonathan Harris in it, future Dr. Zachary Smith playing a creepy doctor. And then Long Distance Call, first one with Bill Mumy, future Will Robinson and Lost in Space. That was shot on videotape, seen right there. And that aired on March 3rd, 1961. The book has a typo. It says 1931. I should have. You see that? Yeah. 3331.
Yeah.
That's a screw up. I never noticed it all the years I've had this book.
Shame on that book for being wrong. Bastard.
Yeah. And so they went back to film because the experiment failed. And the next episode that aired that was shot on film was 100 Yards Over the Rim with Cliff Robertson. I love that one where this dude's in the desert. Take that off the screen.
That's not
Dude's
a
in
bad
the
one.
desert. He goes over the hill. It's like the 1800s, and he goes into modern day times. He sees telephone poles. Remember that one, Al?
Yeah, I remember. Well, I've seen them all over a period of time. And if you don't have the DVD set, Pluto TV they run the Twilight Zone.
Oh, they do? Yeah, and The Outer Limits is on.
And the Outer Limits, they run that also.
No, that's on Freevee and Prime.
One of my favorite episodes from the second season is The Odyssey of Flight 33. Remember that one? That's the one where John Anderson is in it, and he's the pilot of an aircraft, and they're playing and they're flying, and they pick up a tailwind, and they just go really, really, really fast. And they're flying to New York, and so they lower down to land, and they look down on the ground, and they see dinosaurs.
See, something similar in real life happened. There's a pilot that flew over the Bermuda Triangle area, right? He picked up a tailwind and he went faster into to fly to New York. He ended up there faster than normal, and it's actually one of those those true stories out there, right? Because everybody corroborated it that needed to. But yeah, so makes you wonder though if in real life somebody gets a tailwind of a sort and can get to New York faster, why not? Why not time travel into the past and or something else? There's other people that have claimed to time travel into the past as well, and they were like in World War II and stuff like that, flying over this island and shit. So makes you wonder.
Well, the first time I saw that, I thought it was really, really creepy. It was just so. But you look down and they go back to the prehistoric times, and it's just.
It looked like Land of the Lost to me. It looked
well.
cool, fake, you know, those dinosaurs.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, of course, I mean,
but,
they didn't have the technology to make them, but
twice in real life,
the concept of time travel and going either into the future or back in time, and they just went back in time.
And they'd done that in season 1 with this plane that went back in time. Into the future, actually, from the past to the future.
Yeah.
Anyway, the last flight.
But twice in real time has, in real history, has things like that been documented, and not just by one, but multiple people. And it makes you wonder, did they really, travel that fast to the future or to the past? I don't know, but it makes you wonder.
Hey, Foul Al in the chat says, my favorite season 2 episode is The Invaders with Agnes Moorehead that we talked about.
Yeah, that's a
I'm behind in the
episode.
comments.
Yeah.
Baltech says, hello to everyone. Hello to you, my friend. He's actually your friend, Sarah. Hopefully he'll be my friend too one day. Cooking with silence. This is an interesting topic. Let me see if I got everything. Yeah, and you already said this. I know I heard you. JC News Now is the one that said it was an asylum where they house people that are alcoholics. Well, that's not a mental ward, but anyway,
mental ward. What are you talking about? Versus what are we talking about? What?
Another episode that has a very young Robert Redford in it is
that's season 3.
Yeah, Nothing in the Dark. Yeah,
right there, right there on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chef, somebody say hi to you.
Yeah.
Want to say hi back?
Hey, Maltech, how you doing, man? So let's talk about this one from season 2. This was a classic. It's not one of my favorites, but it's about a Martian or two. Will the real Martian please stand up? You have to guess who's the Martian and who's the human, right?
Oh yeah, that's a that one there they play all the time. Whenever there's a marathon, and they'll have it for like days at a time. They'll play that one at least 3 or 4 times. I love that one though.
And of course, spoiler alert: this was the real Martian, the bartender.
With the third eye.
Right there.
Yep.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but I was going to say it, but you beat me to it. Damn it.
And then also in season 2, you had some interesting guest stars like Carol Burnett, a young Carol Burnett long before the Carol Burnett show.
Well, the one after that, The Obsolete Man, also had Burgess Meredith in it.
Oh yeah. And Jonathan Harris was in 2 episodes. The Silence we already talked about the bet where the guy severs his vocal cords, and then he was also the creepy doctor in 22, a videotaped episode. So he was in a videotaped and a film season 2 episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Obsolete Man was right after Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up with Burgess Meredith. That was a good one too. And this one here, Cavender is Coming.
Yeah. So that would bring us to the 3rd season pretty much. I like to hang on, let me get this comment off real quick just so you can read it in case anyone wants to read the names of the credits. We're nerds, man. Al and I are nerds. We care about these things. Now, what did kick off season 3? It was a great episode
called 2.
Future Samantha Stevens on Bewitched, Elizabeth Montgomery, scene right there.
Mm-hmm.
And season 3 began with the new opening credit sequence. We're doing this so bad. We forgot to mention that season 1 of Twilight Zone had an entirely different theme. Season 2 introduced the do 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 do. The first season had a nondescript theme.
Right.
By the same person who did the music in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And I've got the soundtrack right here. Hang on a second.
Snarky's asking something to you. I guess one of you guys, because I wouldn't really ask you this. So, can somebody read the comment on screen?
Yeah. Was Billy Barty in any Twilight Zones? That's Snarky and Sass. She's funny.
She's amazing.
Trivia question. I know he was in.
I don't remember one with him in it, but maybe he did. I don't remember.
He was in fucking. Excuse my French. Peter Gunn. I remember when Peter Gunn around that time. So
Peter Gunn's awesome too.
Peter Gunn, that was a great half-hour show as well.
Violent show. They got away with a lot of violence because it was
Craig Stevens. Craig Stevens was the lead in that.
Don't tell my mom it was a violent show. She liked that one.
I call Peter Gunn the first TV film noir because it was black and white and it was always done at night.
And they did a movie called Gunn in the 60s and it had nudity in it. Sherry Jackson was topless in that. She was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
and if you like Peter Gunn, that's on Pluto too. They got you can find any of these shows, Twilight Zone, just about anything now on streaming. You can find them.
Yeah.
Billy Barty, I'm going to say, was not in the Twilight Zone. To answer your question, I don't think he was, but he was in the Alfred Hitchcock Hour and a lot of shows around that time. But for some reason, he would have been a shoo-in for Twilight Zone, I would think. I don't know why he wasn't cast. I mean, let me just show you the soundtrack real quick. There is Volume 1. There's the front. There's the back. Here's the CD Volume 2. There's the front. There's the back. Okay, now we can get back to talking about the episodes. Right. I just wanted to show that. But you were talking about 2 with Liz Montgomery and also Charles Bronson. Look at him there eating some chicken. Al, do you see that?
Two good actors, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely. I just want to real quick.
Well, you know, Elizabeth Montgomery did several other shows before she landed on Bewitched. I mean, she was in an episode of The Untouchables that I like.
Real quick, guys. Real quick.
Season 2 premiere. She got wasted in that. She was a whore in that.
Yes.
Real quick here. I want to say a special hello to Leo there, who just joined us in chat. I just want you guys to know. Yeah, he does karaoke type stuff on his channel and stuff. And if anybody wants to hear any type of metal type screaming music, definitely go check out Leo there. I just stumbled upon him on one of my other friends' channels, and I just have to throw him out there real quick because I've never thrown him out there. And I know his channel, and that guy has got some really good vocal cords. Just saying, real quick. Back to Twilight Zone. Sorry about that.
No, it's your show. Damn.
Hey, Leo.
Let's see. So, all right.
Daddy
about a nuclear holocaust. Everybody knows that. I was trying to look something up.
Look. Danny says that picture is making him hungry for KFC. And I gotta admit, Dan, it's making me hungry too for KFC. Yes.
I'm trying to find something because I'm having a brain fart. The Twilight Zone TV theme, first season. What the fuck is that guy's name? He scored that. And he did the music for Psycho. Oh, man. Bernard Herrmann. That's it. I didn't even, it hit my brain before it hit the screen for my Google cheating. Hey, Al, I know it's getting late for you. Let's take a quick break from Twilight Zone if we could, because today they announced the Oscar nominated movies.
Yes.
And I pulled a list of the Razzie Award nominees and the Oscar Award nominees. I'm just wondering, because you go to the movies all the freaking time. You're an
Oppenheimer got most of the nominations, 13.
Wow.
And so it's probably going to sweep the awards because everybody likes that movie. And one movie that was completely snubbed was Barbie. Now, Ryan Gosling.
It was nominated for Best Picture. What are you talking about?
Well, yes, but I'm talking about the cast members. The director wasn't nominated. Margot Robbie wasn't nominated. Ryan Gosling was.
Yes, he was. Yeah, Ken.
And he's really upset that Barbie was kind of snubbed.
You know what I heard in a radio show today? There's a scene where Barbie confronts the Mattel executives, and it's a bunch of white old men.
That's a great scene.
In real life, the Barbie executives are women.
You know what's really funny about all that is a lot of people, a lot of dads. I've heard, I've watched a lot of YouTube, okay, and a lot of people that have, that are dads that have daughters, right, are all into the Barbie movie because they get all the inside jokes now because they're dads. So I haven't seen it. I want to see it. Don't get me wrong. I just haven't, right? But I recommend that if you have a daughter, go see Barbie. Just take her with you. I don't care how old she is. If she plays with Barbies, go take her to see it. You guys will laugh at all the inside jokes from what I hear. I wish I'd take my dad to see it, but, him being on oxygen and stuff like that, I can't. So hopefully I can watch it with him one of these days when it's out. Because that'd be great. Because I know he'll get all the inside jokes too. Because I'm gonna tell you, I played a lot of Barbies, and my mom's brother also worked for Mattel, so I had a lot of Barbie testers that didn't even make it to market. Although I didn't know it at the time, and they were destroyed because I played with them really good.
So Sarah, did you see Barbie? Sarah, did you see Barbie? You said
no, I have not because I can't take my dad to go see it. Right, so I have to wait for it to come out. and then he and I can watch it together.
Well, it's available. It's available online. You can get the DVD, but it's really. I didn't think I would like it. I went to the theater to see it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it was just really well done. It just looks great, you know.
You
and
see
I
the
like
joke on
Margot
the
Robbie
screen
anyway.
from
Huh?
351 Cleveland, modified motor. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because it was in a cardboard box coming out of the KFC drive-through.
And there you go.
So I didn't interrupt you. So you liked it, Al. That was your main takeaway. You liked the Barbie movie.
I did like it. You would like it too. I have the DVD.
I might like it. I don't know.
Yeah,
so let's look at the nominated movies really quickly. I don't have it to put on the screen, but Best Picture nominees are American Fiction. Never heard of it. Have you seen it, Al?
No, I haven't seen that. That hasn't been out that long, and it's kind of an indie movie. It's not playing in a lot of theaters, but a movie, to get nominated, only has to play a week in a key city. So,
Sarah, have you seen it?
I haven't seen that.
I haven't. Listen, dude. Last movie I went to go see, I think was Han Solo in the Chinese Man Theater. Okay, and that was
a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a few birthdays hundreds ago when we went to TMZ as well. So it's been a while. But like I said, my dad's on the respirator, so it's not like I just leave the house and go do things now. I gotta stay here and make sure things are good.
Yeah, my first job I had as a teenager was an usher in a movie theater because I love going to movies, and I've always been a part of the theater experience ever since I was 16. I was a projectionist. I worked in television, but I also worked part-time as a projection in a lot of theaters. All right, what are the other nominations?
Okay, yeah, let's go through this because a lot of people don't give a shit about Hollywood. And I don't want them to tune out. They might be here for the Twilight Zone, but Anatomy of a Fall is nominated for Best Picture. Never heard of it.
It's an indie movie.
Indie, okay. The Holdovers, never heard of it.
Oh, now stop a minute. The Holdovers is with Paul Giamatti. He
I didn't hear about that. Sorry.
He won an Oscar for Sideways years ago, but he's been nominated for Best Actor. Now,
I liked him in Big Fat Liar. Go ahead.
Yeah, if he wins, that's fine with me because he's wonderful in The Holdovers. The Holdovers is a great movie.
Private Park, going back to the Howard Stern movie, he was funny as shit in that too.
He's a great actor. He's a very talented actor. And I also like Cillian Murphy, who has been nominated for Best Actor for Oppenheimer. So if Paul Giamatti wins, I'm okay with it. If Cillian wins, I'm okay with it. Both of them are good movies.
God, there's a long list of these Best Picture nominees. Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm aware of that.
That's Martin Scorsese's movie. I haven't seen that, so
it bombed at the box office.
Yeah.
Maestro.
It's almost 4 hours long.
You hated Maestro. That was the one that was controversial because they put a big nose on Bradley Cooper. He's supposed to play a Jewish guy or something like that.
Maestro was a huge
Leonard Bernstein.
I saw it on Netflix. It's a huge disappointment. I did not like the movie at all. I didn't.
You said he had a huge ego. You said that you felt his ego got in the way. Didn't he direct?
Cooper is a fine actor, but he overacted in this, and it was just I didn't like the story. It's the story of Leonard Bernstein, and so he plays Leonard Bernstein, composer. You know, he composed a lot of movies, and so but you don't really know anything about Leonard Bernstein. It's really the story of him coming to fame and then meeting his future wife and their relationship. That's what the whole movie's basically about. And in the interim, he directs an orchestra or whoever for a concert, and that's it. Then he goes back and argues with his wife later on in the movie. It's really it's a story between him and his wife. Really, you learn very little about Leonard Bernstein, in my opinion. I didn't care for it.
Was Lady Gaga in that movie?
No, it's and one thing about Maestro, it was filmed, if you know a lot about film, it was filmed in the 1:3:3 format, which is the old school format. It's very square, it's very small. And the first 45 minutes of the movie's in black and white. And the reason it's in black and white because it's really the birth of Leonard Bernstein, of him as a young guy coming to become the great composer he was. And then after he meets his wife and gets married, then it goes to color. But it's still in the 1:3:3 format. Television is 1:3:3 with the square screen. But if you go to the theater, it won't fill the screen. It's very square.
Sarah Silverman's in the cast, who I like. She's funny, although I don't like her politics all the time or whatever. But she's funny. She's in it. So I guess she didn't have a problem with the nose.
Wait.
Well, I really wanted to like Maestro, but I didn't care for it at all.
Yes, sir.
Wait. you like Sarah Silverman? You think she's funny? Did you like her in Star Trek Voyager? Because she wasn't funny in there.
No, she dated the black guy. I saw her in a recent interview. She dated the black guy she was acting with in that show. Isn't that funny?
Well, yeah, but I'm asking you real quick about Sarah Silverman here. Did you like her in Star Trek Voyager when they went back to 1995?
Not necessarily. I liked her years ago. I thought she used to be funny. You know, I used to like her.
She used to be, yeah, she used to be funny. Then one day she just wasn't. I was like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Sold out. Sell out. Sold out. Sold out.
Right. I'll always think everything is funny, so I can't.
I guess she didn't have a problem with the nose thing. With Bradley Cooper.
She got paid. Yeah, but she got paid money. She got paid money. So I
know there were a lot of vocal people in Hollywood that were unhappy with that.
Just because they didn't get paid money.
And they said you should cast a real Jew as
well, IMDb rated it 5.6. I rate it as a 4. I just didn't care for it at all.
I don't put much stock into that because people are idiots. Look at the way that history's going now. I don't care what people vote.
I guarantee you, Chance, you would not sit down and watch the movie anyway. I mean, you wouldn't like it.
People are fucking stupid. And then we have Oppenheimer,
right?
Which is Titanic length, over 3 hours long. But it's well received, and you predict that's going to win Best Picture, right, Al Hardy?
I predict it will. Oppenheimer is a terrific movie. I saw it at the Tower Theater here in Atlanta on film in 70 millimeter, and it looked great because they released that movie in 70, and so it looked great on that big screen. It's really a good movie. You should watch it if you can. You know what? It's about the Oppenheimer. He developed the atomic bomb.
I know.
And so it's just the history of.
It's the wringing of the hands. It's like, oh, what have I done? I've created the monster. Let's go to
well, that comes later because he sees what the destruction does. But actually, then Washington, they turned their backs on him, even though he invented the atomic bomb. Washington turned their back on him, and he was kind of basically booted out of Washington in his job.
Okay, well, next up,
but Cillian Murphy is a terrific actor. I love him in the series on Netflix, Peaky Blinders, but he's really good. I like him in everything he does.
Oppenheimer was not boring. Be honest, it wasn't boring. You didn't put you to sleep.
No,
right.
Of course not.
I've heard opposite. I've heard it's really boring.
It's if people fall asleep in it, they have no interest in the subject matter, and they shouldn't have gone to see it.
Next up, there's 3 more for Best Picture: Past Lives,
I haven't seen that one.
Poor Things, and the last one is Zone of Interest. Have you seen
Poor Things? Stars Willem Dafoe. It's basically the story of Frankenstein. Well, it's not the story of Frank. It's a Frankenstein story. I haven't seen the whole movie. I've only seen parts of it. But Willem Dafoe, I like him just about in everything he does too.
Oh yeah, agreed.
I agree.
He's a good actor.
Yeah,
I loved him as the Green Goblin in Spider-Man a long time.
Yeah, there's something about him too. He's just super freaking hot, and also I don't know why, because he's not my type, but he's freaking hot.
He's interesting too. His voice sounds European, but he's an American. You know, I don't get it. He's from like Ohio or something.
Now we watched a movie over here, Chance, that had Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson called The Lighthouse.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
And that was filmed in black and white.
He's jerking off in it.
And the 1:33 format, yes.
Yeah, that was bizarre, dude. Well, there's 2 guys trapped on a lighthouse and they're getting each other's nerves.
No, they're not trapped there. They.
Well, I know that's their job. I know
it takes place in 1800s, and they go to this island where the lighthouse is, and you stay there.
They do get trapped there. I thought when there a weather event where they were stuck there.
They have a storm that comes up. Yes,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But they stay there for 4, and they couldn't come pick them up right away because of the storm. But they stay on the island for 4 months, and then they go back to the mainland. But see, they couldn't come pick them up during the movie during the storm because of the storm, and they basically just kind of go crazy.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Well, Willem Dafoe's character does. Robert Pattinson doesn't so much, but it's
in black and white.
It's in black and white. It's shot at 1:33, the small screen format, and it's a movie that will not appeal. It was an indie movie. It didn't play in a wide release anyway. It was an art house movie, but it's
right.
I don't think people it doesn't appeal to a lot of people unless you are really into cinema and the movies. I liked it, but it's quite bizarre.
All right, here's the Best Director category real quick. We got to move it along. Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Chris Nolan, who's very pretentious. We hated
Chris
that
Nolan.
movie.
Chris Nolan has never won an Oscar, and he just might get it for Oppenheimer.
Well, remember his Batman. I always thought his Batmans were pretty good. You know, I liked the first one, but Christian Bale always would scream as Bruce Wayne as Batman. Where are the drugs going? I don't know.
Well, the only movie he did, I didn't care for. The only movie he did I didn't care for was Tenet.
You're killing me. I love you guys. I wasn't expecting that.
Where are the drugs going? The Tenet starred Robert Pattinson, but I didn't understand that movie at all. I couldn't follow it.
Oh shit! Now I forgot what I was doing.
I think that's a chance we went and saw that at the Studio Movie
And
Grill.
it was shit.
That was one of the first movies after the pandemic when theaters reopened. We went and saw that. I just didn't care for it.
I hated it.
I didn't like it at all.
But all right, and then Martin Scorsese, look out. He might steal the show because people love him and he's been bashing Marvel and everything else. Killers of the Flower Moon, which tanked, but he's up for Best Director. So
I still think that, well, if they give it to Martin Scorsese, it's out of his age and he's been around a long time.
He might be friends. Even real people, the members of the Academy are friends of his in a lot of cases. You know, it's who you know.
I took him out and spit.
You know, most likely he'll win it, probably. But I like to see somebody else.
And again, you got Justine Tritt for Anatomy of a Fall. If that's a woman, she might win just because she's a woman.
No,
I'm just saying.
That wasn't a popular movie. It didn't play a lot of, but.
Is Justine, that could be a guy though. Let me look up this. I'm going to play, that could be the dark horse, because of the gender. If she's Asian, she's definitely going to win. Asian and woman, she's going to win. Let me look her up.
Yeah, no,
she's a woman. She's a white woman. I don't know. If you're a black woman, she might win, but I don't know. We'll see. You know, these things work.
I think it goes by, or should go by talent. Anything other than that, I don't want to hear about it. I just want to hear about who's got the talent to win. And that's how this thing should be. Not anything more than that.
Best actor, Bradley Cooper with his prosthetic nose and Maestro.
No.
And then Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti, Holdovers. I'd love to see him win. I really don't care about the Oscars anymore, but I would like to see him win just because I think he's a great talent. Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I'll just go down the list so we can move along. Best Actress, Annette Bening. Best Actress, Annette Bening for Nyad. Lily Gladstone, Sandra Huller, Carey Mulligan. Emma Stone will probably win. She's probably sucking off everybody in Hollywood.
I like her, actually.
No, I like her. She's a good actress. She's a favorite. She's a favorite. For whatever reason, probably something we don't want to know. No, she's good.
Listen,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it all comes down to Hollywood. There's many stories in Hollywood about everything, regardless of which. Let's just stick to his talent.
That's right. Best Supporting Actor, Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling, Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo, who's a stupid person, for Poor Things. He's just not a very smart man.
I heard he's very good in Poor Things, though.
Do you want to make a prediction for Best Supporting Actor, or do you not give a shit? Sterling Brown, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling for Barbie,
Yes,
or
Robert Downey's going to win it for Oppenheimer. He you almost didn't recognize him in it because he's bald and they make him look older, and he's great. He's great in it. So he'll get the Oscar for supporting actor. I guarantee.
This is going to take too much time to go through all this. We'll just do the main categories. Geez, Best Supporting Actress. I didn't even know Jodie Foster was nominated. She's back.
She's a good actress.
She is. Emily Blunt, America Ferrara from Barbie, Danielle Brooks, and then Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. All right. Any predictions there? Let's get you on the record. Holdovers?
Yeah,
she'll win.
All right. Divine. All right. We don't care about Scream. I mean, we do, but nobody out there in Sarah's audience gives a shit about this. So I'll just move along. With that,
Well,
okay, those are the big ones. So that's all I got to say about
well,
the Oscars.
it's 10 to 11 here. I'm gonna sign off by 11 o'clock. So
All right. Well, let me hear.
All right.
Now here's the Razzies. Did you hear about the Razzies worst picture list?
No, I
Worst
haven't
picture
heard.
list. Russell Crowe. Oh wait, no, that's worst actor. Worst picture. Exorcist, Believer, Expendables, Meg 2, The Trench, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
They're all bad movies. I agree.
Worst actor,
terrible.
Russell Crowe in The Pope's Exorcist, Vin Diesel in Fast 10, Chris Evans for Ghosted, John Voight in Mercy.
Vin Diesel couldn't act his way out of a wet paper bag. He's terrible. I hate the
Yeah,
Fast and
he's
Furious
a good.
movies anyway.
He's a good actor. It's just, have you seen him in real life? That's right. He cannot act his way, or he can't. Real life has.
I don't care for those. I don't care for
He
those
can't
movies
real life
anyway.
himself out of a paper bag. That's for sure. But the movies, wow, he uses his brain. It looks like,
Yeah.
but in real life he doesn't.
Worst actress. We have Ana de Armas for Ghosted, Megan Fox, Johnny and Clyde, Salma Hayek for Magic Mike's Last Dance, Jennifer Lopez,
Mike. Oh my
the mother,
god.
and Helen Mirren. Oh, she's a good actor for Shazam, Fury of the Gods. There you go.
Shazam bombed.
Oh, last thing here. Worst, it sure did. Worst supporting actress, Kim Cattrall, About My Father, Megan Fox, Expendables 4, Bai Ling, Johnny and Clyde, Lucy Liu, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Mary Stuart Masterson for Five Nights at Freddy's. And then,
Five Nights at Freddy's actually was. I enjoyed the movie. I liked it.
worst supporting actor, Michael Douglas, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Mel Gibson, Confidential Informant, Bill Murray, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Franco Nero, The Pope's Exorcist, and Sylvester Stallone for Expendables 4.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. And then worst on-screen couple, Any Two and Merciless Mercenaries and or Expendables. All right. Enough said. So, Al, Twilight Zone.
Yes.
This was weird. I think Sarah and Al, they went to a 1 hour format at the end of season 3 of the Twilight Zone. Oh, and by the way, I love the opening to season 3 of the Twilight Zone and use that in the promo for tonight's show, Sarah, with that like cyclone whirly looking thing.
Yes.
That psychedelic effect.
Is
Yes.
like this. Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
I made the entire thumbnail from scratch. I mean, I got all the pictures of it, assembled it myself, right?
Oh man, but Al, I forgot to mention Tom Williams, Basil's favorite episode, or one of them. We did a show, Sarah, Al, Tom, and I, a couple years ago about the outer limits in the Twilight Zone in the Nostalgic Pod Blast. It was only 90 minutes long. And he mentioned this one, Little Girl Lost from season 3. Poltergeist ripped this off. The movie Poltergeist with the little girl that goes to another dimension. The same thing happened in this Twilight Zone episode from March 16th, 1962. See it on the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
And the parents have to go through a wall to get her back. It's the same thing, but just, of course, not with the special effects you saw in Poltergeist.
Before I get out of here, Twilight Zone had a lot of people in it that became big stars, and I was William Shatner, Art Carney, Dennis Hopper, Burgess
Robert
Meredith,
Redford,
Robert
there.
Duvall, Martin Landau, Roddy McDowell, Ted Knight, Ron Howard, Agnes Moorehead, Bill Mumy, Buddy Ebsen, Cliff Robinson,
Bill Mumy,
Dennis Weaver, Dick York, Don Rickles, Sidney Pollack, Robert Redford, Martin Milder, Carol Burnett, Charles Bronson, Dean Stockwell, James Best, Leonard Nimoy, Bill Bixby, Burt Reynolds, Claude Akins, Jack Weston, James Whitmore, Martin Balsam, Ida Lupino, Jackie Cooper, James Colburn, Lee Marvin, Mickey Rooney, Telly Savalas, Shelley Fabre, George Takei, Vera Miles.
George Takei,
excuse me.
Oh, my.
But anyway, many people were in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, and directors, Richard Donner directed Shatner on the Wing of the Plane that we talked about, but we got to talk about this one, It's a Good Life, and we're going to watch this tonight after you sign off.
Well, not this episode, but the one that they made where he's an adult and he has a daughter, which is played by his daughter.
Is that's the one where he sends them to the cornfield, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's his second episode of 3 on the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, because
who played his mom? Who played the mom in that one?
That's the one that's shown all the time. Every time I watch Twilight Zone, that one seems to pop up.
And it was remade in the movie from 1983.
And they had the new series, which is not copyrighted, so hopefully we can play it, because that's the one we'll be playing which is like a 20-minute thing at the end.
I'm so stupid, Sarah. I thought you were going to try to play the classic episode. I was like, how is that not copyrighted?
No, all these originals are extremely copyrighted. But see, the remake has Billy Mooney in it, and his daughter plays his daughter in it, so it's a continuation of it. And I have a little thing before that to explain about the new series, and he talks about his old ones and the new one, and then we'll play the new one or the newer one.
We're gonna have a watch party. That's
yeah,
cool.
one of the viewers, Wood Train, he mentioned this. He said Robert Redford and Nick Nolte in 2015's movie A Walk in the Woods, which was filmed here in Atlanta, and that is a terrific movie. Wood Train, that's one of my favorites. I have it on Blu-ray. A Walk in the Woods.
Excellent.
Oh.
Hey Al, who played Bill Mooney's mom in It's a Good Life?
Oh God, I can see her face now. I can go look it up.
Look on the screen. It's right there. There's the cast credits.
Oh, there it is. Cloris Leachman.
There you go. You can read.
She's also plays his mother, and the thing we'll be watching later.
Yeah.
Another quick one before I've screwed up because I wanted to talk a little bit about season 3. To Serve Man, that's one of Sarah's favorites. There's Richard Keel, future Bond villain, who played Jaws with the steel teeth. Look at him there.
And he was putting people in the spaceship to take them up so they could eat them.
Right,
Yeah,
it's a cookbook. That was the twist.
And,
Go ahead, sir.
And in the thumbnail, Chance is him. He's gonna eat me. That's why he's holding me. He's gonna eat me.
There's a scene in that where they give one of the guys some food. He said, "Well, you need to eat and get fattened up,"
Yeah, he's all depressed. He's gonna go. He knows he's gonna go get eaten. He's like, "No, you gotta eat.
So they're going to take him back up to their planet to eat them.
And Al, you mentioned this guy in your list of future stars. James Best. Now, what is he best known for? Those in chat that don't know the name James Best.
Well,
he was.
I tell you, he was in the movie Ode to Billy Joe.
Flash! He was in the Dukes of Hazzard.
That's
Sheriff
true, but he was
Roscoe
also in the movie
Coltrane.
Ode to Billy Joe. Yeah.
Well, here he is in the Twilight Zone.
So good.
Yeah.
And there he is with Sherry Jackson, who I talked about earlier, who was topless in the Gunn movie based on the Peter Gunn TV series Gunn.
She was topless in Gunn? Oh, my God.
And she played a robot in Star Trek, What Are Little Girls Made Of, opposite Shatner and Ted Cassidy, Lurch from the Addams Family. But there's James Best. And
that's how you make an android. What? No, it's not.
Now, you had a couple cool monsters in the Twilight Zone, nothing like the Outer Limits, but in this episode, The Fugitive, you had this monster.
Mm-hmm. That
One
looks
more
like
thing.
something out of the Outer Limits.
This is one of my favorite episodes, The Midnight Sun, with the twist where everyone's hot and they're getting closer to the sun. So
actually, that's not what it is. Everybody is freezing. The chick you just showed has a fever, so she's getting hotter, and she thinks everything's hot. And when her fever breaks, and they talk at the end, it's really everybody's getting colder, further away from the sun.
Yeah, but in the whole episode, it's hot. They're hot, hot, hot. At the end,
Yeah,
yes,
but it's a fever chick, right?
Right. That's at the very end. But you're absolutely right. And that's Lois Nettleton, who played that part. There she is right there, burning. That's right, the shot when the fever breaks.
Yeah.
And it shows these paintings on the wall melting. It's so psychedelic. Remember that?
It's very good episode.
Rod Serling, when he went over to do Night Gallery, he did an episode about the sun, about where Ronnie Howard's kid brother was in the movie, and he could predict the future. And it was called Nova. And in the end, he would go on television and predict the future, and they would always come true. And he could see things in the future. And then the last episode, last TV show, he didn't want to go on camera because some bad things were going to happen. And basically what it was, the sun was going to explode, and he didn't want to tell anybody. And it's about another one about the sun that Rod Serling did for Night Gallery. I think it's called Nova. I think it's what it's called.
351 Cleveland Modified Motor says Telly Savalas, Kojak, the penis with ears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, well, Kojak was also in.
Who loves the baby? Yeah.
Dude, I happen to love Kojak. It's one of my favorite TV shows. But Kojak was also in Twilight Zone with the doll that, I'm talking Tina and I'm going to kill you, which is also on the thumbnail.
Season 5.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you talk about everything that was on the thumbnail because those are the ones that stuck out to me the most, are some of my favorites that people know about.
Al, who is this? This is a season 3 Twilight Zone. Who is that actor? He later would play an iconic role.
Peter Falk, Columbo.
Yes, until 2003, from 1968 2008 until 2003, he was Columbo, but there he is playing a dictator. He's supposed to be like Fidel Castro.
He looks like him a little bit, yeah.
He was made up to be. And then there's Kick the Can, one of the 4 episodes in Twilight Zone, the movie. Talked about that. There's Barry.
The Kick the Can was about the people that were in retirement home, and all the other members would go out and they became young again.
It was extremely sad in the movie, though, how parents would just leave them behind and forget about them. Well, you're going to call, right? Oh, sure, Pop. And then he never calls.
Right.
The kids are like bastards.
Why my dad is still here? Well, I mean, if I ignore him for a day, I still can text him. I'm just saying I don't ignore him. But, my point is, those kind of things stick with me. And until I can't, he will be here, right? Because I can't with that. Because, I mean, that's not how life works. I wish it did. That we could all kick the can and either, become young or old, depending on how you kick it, right? But yeah, why my dad is still here.
Amen. 351 Cleveland Modified Motors talking about a movie he was in. I can't see the link. I'll look at it later.
Yeah, it'll be here later. It'll get bad.
I'm in the pink pants. I'll check it out. And then Snark replied, Princess Bride. Interesting.
Well, Princess Bride was actually a fun movie. I liked it.
I saw it in the theater.
You know who was in Princess Bride? Andre the
Everybody
Giant.
I love.
Of course. And who directed it, Al?
What's his name
The
from
Meathead, Rob Reiner.
All in the Family Guy, yeah. Rob Reiner. Now I liked his dad, Carl Reiner. He was funny in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
And he was in the Dick Van Dyke Show, of course.
Yeah.
Wearing a hairpiece, a toupee. And then this guy went on talking about future stars to be Lieutenant Philip Gerard in The Fugitive, but here he was in an episode called A Piano in the House, season 3, Twilight Zone, where he played a playwright and a real dick.
He has
the piano. What's that?
So I've been meaning to ask you about The Fugitive. Did you like the movie with
Harrison Ford?
Yes. Did you like the movie?
I did. I liked it.
I did too. Did you like the sequel after it?
I did not. I never saw it.
Okay, it's really good for the most part. There's one scene that's needless because somebody died for no reason. But now, that being said, did you like the remake TV show with the guy who played Al Bundy? Because I didn't. I hated it.
I didn't watch it. I liked the one with Daly, who played David Koresh in a great TV movie. I love that movie about the compound, the Koresh thing. He's such a good actor. James Daly's son and Tyne Daly's brother. But
real quick,
right.
I'm going to say hi to American. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a little stoned here, guys. Sorry. Anyways, I just want to say, yeah, weird. I got brownies. Who knew? Okay, so Off-Road RC, as I call them, anyways. It's good to see. I haven't seen you in a million years. If you want to see some really good off-roading RC videos with RC cars, definitely check out this dude. He's got some good ones. And he talks about his cars and shit like that. Definitely a good dude. Just to throw him out there real quick. I haven't seen him in a million years, so.
Cool.
Just saying. Anyways, continue with the topic.
Oh, just the one-armed man, says Snark and Sass. Tim Daly. Thank you. Snark, you're right. Tim Daly. I couldn't think of his first name. But he played a good Richard Kimball, I thought. Piano in the House. He has this piano that will let people basically their innermost secrets come to the surface. And then it turns out he's like a petulant child, Barry Morse's character. Anyway, and then, of course, the show, for some reason, went to a 1-hour format after season 3. Al, do you want to read that from the book?
No, go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay. Well, I'll be real quick. This is kind of interesting, I think. I always say that, then I talk for an hour. No. By the close of the 3rd season, the Twilight Zone had made cultural inroads beyond its status as a mere television series. In a world of ever-increasing oddness, the Twilight Zone was a phase perfectly suited to describe any number of situations. In the spring of 1962, the Twilight Zone was late in finding a sponsor for the 4th season. As a result, CBS programmed a new show called Fair Exchange into its time slot for the fall. Suddenly, and without prior warning, the Twilight Zone was off the air. Rod Serling's agent frantically attempted to work out some kind of a deal with CBS so that the series could remain on television. Meanwhile, Buck Houghton found himself without a job. At the same time, he received a very attractive offer from 4-star Productions, who also, for those that don't know, did the Big Valley Western and other shows. During the last year, at least, and maybe before that, he recalls there were people that wanted me to work for them, and they were constantly saying, "You can't tick your career on Rod Serling's kite. Pretty soon, you'll only be known as the producer of Rod Serling's material." And I said, "No, I produced a lot of material before I ever met Rod Serling." But there were pressures to pull me away from there, and I knew that those pressures arose from the excellence of the Twilight Zone, which in turn depended on Rod Serling. So I thought, to hell with that, I'll stick with him. And indeed I did, right up until it came to a position of fish or cut bait, where I was really faced with the prospect of within a month turning down the 4-star deal and then having Twilight Zone not even renewed and losing both options. Okay, so eventually CBS decided to renew the Twilight Zone, but in a different format. 18 episodes of the series were ordered, each an hour in length, to begin airing in January 1963 as a mid-season replacement. At the recommendation of Sterling and Houghton, CBS hired producer Herbert Hirschman to supervise these shows. There you go. So that's why. And then they also had a new opening sequence, more familiar. There's the write-up I like to show of everybody I've done all along of each season for those that want to pause it on their TV after we're live and look at the names. But look, this is what they did. They changed the opening to a dimension of sight, and you see an eyeball, a dimension of sound, the window breaks, a dimension of mind. And those are the objects and the props. And you see the little doll. It's kind of hard to tell with the white, but that's how that looked. And they used that same opening for season 5 that they produced for season 4, but they retitled it Twilight Zone instead of The Twilight Zone. And then here was the first episode that aired of season 4. It was called In His Image, where this guy is actually a robot. Look at him peeling his arm back, revealing the wires. Isn't that neat?
All right, that's a good episode, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then look, here's another feature star, Al. I can't remember if you mentioned her, Ann Jillian, as a child actor in an hour-long Twilight Zone Mute. People remember her from Mr. Mom, maybe,
and Frank Overton's in it from 12 O'Clock High.
Yes, and he was in other episodes of the Twilight Zone going back to season 1. And then look here, there's Dennis Hopper playing a neo-Nazi, and he's alive.
That was a disturbing episode to me. He was a supporter of Hitler, and Dennis Hopper's very good in it, but that's probably one of my least favorites. I liked it, but I'm not crazy about it.
And there's a creepy shot of a silhouette of Hitler coming back to life.
Yes.
Yeah. And controlling him even more. Yeah. I have to admit that episode, I watched it one time. It stuck with me like hardcore to this day. Even I watched it since, right? But I'm gonna tell you that really did not sit well with me, because it didn't take much for the mom mentality for people to go, because I said so, therefore the truth, and stomp on anyone, everyone, right?
Right.
It's so true to the point. It's happened before. It's happening now. It'll happen in the future, because people won't learn to not be like that.
You're doomed. It's not a cliche.
If you don't remember your past, you're doomed to repeat it, or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
But Dennis Hopper, his son Henry Hopper is actually a very good actor. He does indie movies. He does a lot of like art type projects. But
bye, Cammy.
Henry Hopper he looks just like Dennis, but he's a good actor himself.
So there he is in that, and then another 1-hour episode with another feature star. There's Robert Duvall, who's still alive, knock on wood, in his 90s. He had a birthday not too long ago. There he is in miniature. Look how he still had some of his hair.
Yeah.
See, I have a note, Laserdisc. Al, you looking at the screen? Laserdisc? Yes. Because they released it on Laserdisc. I'll show you my Laserdisc. I took photos of the inserts in a moment. I'll show you. And then here's The Bard, which had featured Dinah Girl.
And Jack Weston.
Judy Strangis is the little girl. I know that means very little to most out there, but it meant something to me. But also, more importantly, Burt Reynolds was in it.
Yep.
There he is. And Burt Reynolds had been doing Westerns and other shows around that time. But look at Burt. I think that's before he wore his hairpiece.
He was
in a series called Riverboat. I think it was a CBS program for a while. It's called Riverboat, one of his first TV series.
And here is Julie Newmar before she was sexy Catwoman in Adam West's Batman in an hour-long Twilight Zone from season 4 of Late, I Think of Cliffordville, airing on April 11th, 1963. And she did a show called Living Doll, where she played, it only lasted 1 year in black and white the year after this. And she played, it was like a fantasy show. Like I Dream of Jeannie was every man's fantasy, right? You could have a woman. She has to do everything you ask. That was kind of what Living Doll was about, but she was an android.
And Albert Salmon, he always played creepy characters and kind of like nasty guys in movies and TV shows.
He murdered his wife in real life and shot himself to death. He did a murder-suicide.
Shot himself to death.
Well, he killed his wife. No, they were on Tattletales together, and those have aired on Buzzer.
It's called a murder-suicide. It's called a murder-suicide.
Yeah,
Don't you watch?
Isn't that sad and sick?
Yeah.
And he was in Lost in Space. He played Captain Tucker, the pirate, the space pirate.
A lot of stuff, actually.
Who supposedly was from Earth in 1980.
Real quick, Brandon's asking me a question. Adam West is an actor. Well, he was an actor. He's dead now. Who did Batman, and he did what other movies did Adam West do?
Al?
Yes.
He didn't do many movies. I mean, he was a TV actor primarily because of Batman.
Yeah.
He got typecast. After Batman, he did
some
many
features.
movies.
Yes, he did. He made some. He was in a few westerns. But
I'm talking about after Batman.
West.
If you listened, I said after Batman, he didn't do many movies. Go ahead, sir.
Right. Okay.
Well, my point is, I can't think of everything he was in, but yeah, Brandon, don't feel bad. I was talking to like a neighbor a few months back, and we were talking about old TV stuff, and I was talking about Adam West. They had no idea who Adam West was, and they were in their 70s, so I don't know how they missed Adam West in their 70s. But for you, brother, I know how you did, because probably because you're in Canada. Maybe Batman wasn't one of those things that they played constantly in like old reruns, and like maybe your parents would watch or something. I'm just saying. So don't feel bad, because that happens. But Adam West also was the mayor in shoot, dang it, I suddenly forgot now. Anyways, he also was a mayor of a city. My mom used to sell stamps to him. Pacific Palisades, excuse me. He was the mayor in Pacific Palisades back in the 70s sometime. My mom used to sell stamps to him. In fact, we met Adam West again later on at a casino thing in Temecula when they were doing a casino thing for Batman and Robin. And he was there, and my mom showed him a picture from her from the 70s. And he actually remembered her. The video's on my channel. You can go find it. It's one of the older ones that's still public. Anyways, and he remembered her and said, when I was mayor and all this shit, and she was like, yeah. And that was pretty cool. That was back in 2000. Who knows? Yeah. So,
who was the mayor of Carmel, California?
What?
Who was the mayor of Carmel, California back in the day? Talking about mayors and actors.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So that's in a nutshell, Adam West, real quick. But
how do you go through life not knowing who Adam West is? No offense.
No, I just said he's also in Canada, so they don't have the same TV programming we do.
I'm just being an asshole. So,
asshole.
Season's end. Here comes season 5, the 5th and final season of the Twilight Zone, 1963-64. In the spring of 1963, CBS renewed the Twilight Zone for a 5th season, shortening it back to half an hour, and they restored the original title from Twilight Zone to The Twilight Zone for season 5. The network's experiment had failed. Twilight Zone's expanded size to 1 hour had not made for an expanded audience. I'll just leave it right there. There's more to the article that you can see on the screen, but in the interest of time, because I know Al's fading fast, we got to move along.
Well, listen, I'm going to back out now. I've had a good time, and as you get into the last season, I'll stay here backstage and watch for a little while. But Sarah, have a good night. Chance, have a good night.
Al, thanks for contributing, brother. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Okay, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.
Most of good night, boy. Are you sitting in the back? Or do you want me to?
I'll do it.
I removed him. Did you put him back? No,
right.
you moved him.
He's
going up and down. Poor guy. He's like, I just getting much sickness. No, real quick. Brendan asked if that was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a later movie of Batman, and he wasn't playing Batman. He was playing Mr. Freeze.
Right.
Adam West played Batman himself.
But he was a governor of California too. for a while.
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes, he was.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Anecdote. Yeah.
Yeah, because see, under Great Davis, I lost my job, so stupid rolling blackouts. Bastard. Anyways, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger came into there, and there was no more rolling blackouts. And then when he left office, guess what? They were back because idiots are in office again. My bad.
Yeah. So we should play some clips in a minute. We have some awesome video. Anyone who's been patient, I thank you so much because I've been rambling like a jackass. But
well, also real quick here,
I'll
just say real quick, if we get taken down, the game for the evening is whether you have weed or alcohol or both. Every time YouTube will take us down if we play any clips, you take a shot or a drag. Just saying, that's the game for tonight because YouTube is like about everything.
There's Bill Mooney in Praise of Pip, the season 5 premiere with Jack Klugman, who had been in several other Twilight Zones. He was in season 1 playing the trumpet and everything. But there he is. That was his third and final appearance, Bill Mooney. Future Will Robinson. And then look, another star, Robbie the Robot, showed that earlier. Let me see what else I had pulled up. The Masks was a creepy one from season 5 where these people are given masks to wear and then obviously their faces get distorted.
I love that. That's the one that's very powerful and sends up my mind because the inner ugly of you can match the outer ugly of you. And once I understood that as a kid, that, just because people looked pretty, that mean they were pretty on the inside. Because, the misconception as a kid for me was that. And I always thought that was, odd that only pretty people were good people. And then us uggos would always be like the uggos inside and out. And then one day I saw this episode, I was like, oh, excuse me, I was wrong. You are what you are on the inside and outside. And that will show, those masks will show you how you look on the inside to your outside. All those people were so shallow and bitter people, unhappy. I choose to be happy, so I'm not them. I'm not them.
There's the classic Nightmare at 20,000 feet. We talked about that before, the creature on the plane. But look how fake that monster looked. Outer Limits took monsters to a whole new level. That very same season. By the way, this season was the season that Outer Limits debuted. So for a time, you had both the Outer Limits and the Twilight Zone on the air at the same time.
Yeah, I used to, as a kid, be against watching the Outer Limits. I swore it was just a ripoff of the Twilight Zone. As little kids, that's what I thought. So I hated watching ripoff shows. And then one day I grew up with, some ripoff shows were just called shows that had nothing to do with the other one at all. You dingus. And then I happened to watch Outer Limits. So I was like, this is so much. Oh my god! This is, and my mom was like, I told you, and I was like, shut up. But then I watched it. Yeah, thanks, Mom. Sorry I'm slow, but thank you.
And going back to this image, what does that remind you of, Sarah? A 70s show. I'll just say it reminds me of the $6 Million Man.
Well, I was going to say that reminds me of Star Trek. Is Star Trek because in the Star Trek movies and TV shows, Data often, oh my god, often would pull back some wrist thing and pull out some type of thing for a thing. Yeah. So reminds me of Star Trek a lot. But yes, it's my mind for sure.
Reminds me a little bit of The Empire Strikes Back at the end with Luke Skywalker and his prosthetic robotic hand and arm.
Data. I love Brent Spiner. Bill Mummy is my Brent Spiner. I love them both. Talk bad about them and I'll beat you.
Quickly! There's the creature on the wing of the plane. Classic episode where he's having a mental breakdown. Or is he?
Well, actually, it turns out that he's not having a breakdown. The plane actually did get fucked. The panel did get lifted up. So
yep, and it was remade with John Lithgow playing that character in Twilight Zone, the movie. Living Doll. Hey, you used that image in the great promotional piece you put together to promote tonight's live broadcast.
Because one, it's got my man Kojak, and then also listen, if the doll says it's going to kill you, why don't you be nice to it? Don't sit there and go try to extra kill it, man, because you're going to die. Just throwing it out there for you guys.
And we're going to play pinball in a little bit. Twilight Zone pinball. I'll explain later. There's another one that shows how beauty is not just skin deep. Number 12 looks like you. This actress, Colin Wilcox, always was typecast as kind of a plain Jane. And she was in this one as well. And that woman there, Pam Austin, that you see, who's supposed to be one of the beautiful people, she went on to do Laugh-In for a brief period in the first.
Dude, Laugh-In is so funny. Oh my gosh, I love Laugh-In.
I do too. We're going to do a pod blast on it.
I love you.
Yeah, it just had its 56th anniversary the other day, this past week.
Dude,
We got to talk about Gil Gerard, who has a birthday today, who lives here in the state of Georgia, from Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. I have a little clip of him later.
Cool.
I got a doctor's appointment, so I can't go all night. But look, there's Robbie the Robot in Brain Center at Whipple's, not to be confused with Don't Squeeze the Charmin, Mr. Whipple in the commercial, played by Dick Wilson that we've talked about before. Now, Al went away, but that's one of his favorite actors, Robert Lansing, who the very next season starred in 12 O'Clock High by Quinn Martin Productions, in season 1 only of that show that lasted 3 years, based on the movie. And I like this actress, Antoinette Bauer on the left. She was in classic Star Trek, playing Sylvia in the Halloween episode Cat's Paw. She was in the 6-Man Christmas episode. She was a very attractive woman. She was in The Fugitive a lot. But there she is with Richard Basehart, who in just less than a year would play Admiral Nelson in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which replaced The Outer Limits. For season 2 of The Outer Limits, they took its Monday night 7:30 p.m. time slot. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea did, and that ABC moved The Outer Limits to Saturday night, which killed the show. But Voyage took Outer Limits season 1 time slot. But anyway, there they are together in Probe 7 Over and Out. That's a good episode. I like it. I like both those actors. And of course, Richard Basehart was the narrator in Knight Rider. Michael Knight, a shadowy figure. You know, great voice. He died in 1984 of cancer, sadly. But and he also was in the pilot of Knight Rider, playing the wealthy guy who, built KITT, which stands for Knight Industries 2000.
Yes. Such a funny thing. You're dead. We took you your face. I'm like, it's the same exact thing. Just a little bit of shell did not disguise that his face is the exact same. Like, what? I don't recognize myself. I'm like, oh.
Well, they did use tricks in the pilot to make him look totally different. They didn't show his former face.
They didn't.
They should have. They should have.
They did. It was his same face, just in the shadow, so it looked slightly darker or something. They didn't do jack shit to it. They didn't even put a pimple on it.
They really did.
There are people who made Knight Rider love it, except for the fuck with what? Anyways, moving on.
Didn't. And then Martin Landau, whom Al Hardy had mentioned previously in the Jeopardy room, and he'd been in a season 1 episode playing a real ass in the 3rd aired episode. This was the last filmed episode. It didn't air last in aired order, but that was the last one ever shot of the original Twilight Zone. Come Wander With Me, which is a creepy episode. This woman, Bonnie Beecher, sings a song. I had it, but I didn't want to play it. I thought it might damage your channel, Sarah, because of copyright. But it's a really haunting song. And Bonnie Beecher plays a ghost haunting this character played by Gary Crosby in that episode.
Well, you could have always just uploaded it on a different channel that's not like your main channel and seen the copyright on it if there was copyright on it.
And I should have done that. And now I know for next time. But let me look up. The last episode that aired, though, that CBS chose to air was a real turkey for the Twilight Zone. And then I'm going to play some clips, if I could.
Yes, please. And then we'll get to my thing. And then we'll for the last thing. And then I got a little thing for my dad's birthday since it was last Saturday. So,
happy birthday to Sarah's dad.
Oh, I love my daddy.
The last episode, and you've had some rough weather there lately in Southern California, a lot of rain.
Dude, yeah. I mean, in San Diego, County, right? In Oceanside and stuff like that, there's places that are underwater because of some heavy rainfall out here, right? And then yesterday, dude, we got hit by a storm of storms. And normally around here, if it rains, because I'm in California, but if it rains, it doesn't rain that much. But it always rains enough in my area to flood because my area is a big flood area, right?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, yesterday, we got hit by a thunder and lightning storm, right? With just constant heavy downpour for about, I swear, 2 hours. It did not stop. Hardcore raining, right? Mm-hmm. And then the power started, doing that fluctuating thing for quite some time. My dad's on a ventilator. We lose power.
Wow.
Kind of
serious.
Yeah, and we have oxygen bottles and stuff like that, but then you never know how long anything's gonna last, and blah blah blah. And oxygen bottles only get filled up so many times because insurance is so. Anyways, and so then the internet was out, and then I had the internet on my phone for a while, and then I was like, I gotta save my power on my phone and stuff, so I'm intermittently checking things, and everybody's trying to get a hold of me. I'm like, okay, I swear, I Wednesday I'll catch up with everybody because I literally cannot right now, right? And they're like, oh, okay. And I was just like, dang, dude. So I told Chance yesterday, well, assuming I have powered internet tomorrow, we will go live. And he's just like, wow. So, yeah. And thanks, Off-Road. I appreciate that.
I'm going to just read a paragraph.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that your dad's okay and that you didn't lose power. That would have been a disaster. I'm really sincerely glad that everything worked out.
Yes, thank you.
This episode, Come Wander With Me, the last one that was filmed that aired in May of 64, May 22nd, was written by Anthony Wilson, who later created a show called The Land of the Giants for Irwin Allen. He co-created it, and The Invaders. And he also developed The Planet of the Apes for television. And anyway, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But the last episode is one you talked about, Sarah. The last episode that aired, not produced, was The Bewitching Pool.
Mm-hmm.
And that aired on June 19th, 1964. And the plot is about two children who escape their bickering parents through a portal in the bottom of the swimming pool to a magical land watched over by a kindly old woman that the children call Aunt T. And that was written by Earl Hamner Jr., who later created the Waltons. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that episode, I mean, I always thought it was, this before I knew better, I always thought it was like the first episode of Twilight Zone ever because the audio, it matched up with the lips not at all, and it was just like horribly acted and shit like that. Then one day, and I realized that was the last episode, I was like, wait, how'd they go from like the first episode being Chef's Kiss to the last episode being like the goddamn worst thing I've ever seen in my life? But also, the storyline is great, but what the hell happened there? Anyways.
Right.
And then I thought about maybe they all had strokes, and then I moved on with my day.
So I'm an old fart. I'm old as dirt. So I collected the Twilight Zone on VHS and also Laserdisc. And this is from my collection. That's volume 1. There were several Laserdisc sets. I just want to give it a little sneak peek, and then we'll talk about other items really quickly. There's the back. Look at the art. I love the artwork on the back.
Yeah.
And those little numbers, those are decals. I could remove them. I had written down the episode number in production order so I could watch them in order. That was before DVD where you can get the whole series.
I still think it's funny that you invested in these things, let alone watch them, because when I was in 7th grade, the only time in my life I was exposed to Laserdisc, they were there, and then 8th grade came, and they were gone. And then people, I mean, don't get me wrong, but then I just assumed that everybody was like, the school district went, well, these are dumb, and threw them out. But no, there's people like you who actually collect them. I know plenty of other people who do as well. But oh my God, it's just so cool because now as an adult, right? Well, I still wouldn't own them, but I enjoy looking at the covers because they did remind me of all vinyl covers, like previously stated. And I dig it, to this day. So the fact that I get to see it, like, basically in person, kind of, if you think about it, from my co-here, then hell yeah, this is like epic stuff. And it makes me think about how really naive I was as a 7th grader to think that in the future, these would have no place or value. Just like my teachers told me that I'd never use a calculator in everyday life. And I'm like, I have like 80 of them on my phone. I get more. Like, what? Yeah. Anyways, continue. I just got to say, I was wrong. And the future was kind of right, but also definitely wrong.
So Gary Crosby is related, obviously, to Bing Crosby. That was the guy. There was a question, and he passed away sadly in 1995 at the age of 62. Yeah. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's his son, not his brother. Bing Crosby is Gary's dad. So there you have it. I just want to acknowledge that question.
Is that Denise Crosby's dad as well?
No, I don't think so, but let me check. I wish I'd kept that page up. I just pulled up. Let me see.
How dare you skip ahead to not what I said?
By the way, Facebook automatically censored. Someone had written, "You damn dirty ape," a line from Planet of the Apes on my Facebook group, the Nostalgic Podcast. And they thought it was hate speech. Can you believe that? The bot. How stupid. Anyway, that's racist in itself that they would assume that was a racial thing. It's a line from a movie. It's a classic line. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
Dude, I know some other people that recently got in Facebook jail, and their Facebook says that everything's fine, and they're not there anymore.
I didn't say it.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, I know a bunch of people recently that have been like nuked because of things that they've said. and have been previously fine up until suddenly, and they had nothing to do with anything, but they got nuked for hate speech and shit. They're like, wait, what? And I was like, well, that's right now.
Denise Crosby is Gary's niece.
There you go. See, I knew it was a Crosby relation. Ooh.
And I wonder how it relates to Mary Crosby, who shot JR on Dallas.
Oh, well,
that's her half sister, Mary Crosby, who was the woman, spoiler alert, who shot JR. Her character, Sue Ellen's younger sister, Kristen, on November 21st, 1980. But getting back to my little Laserdisc show and tell, I want to play these clips. I've been teasing these for so long. I just love that artwork. There's an interior little pamphlet. There's the inside of it. I should have taken individual pictures, but I didn't. There's the back of it. And then here's volume 2 of the Twilight Zone Laserdisc set. There's the back. I love that artwork on the back. The Five of Us Are Dying is that episode from season 1. And there's some overrated episodes of Twilight Zone. Well, I'll save it for my show. I'll do a show on Twilight Zone down the line. There's some episodes that
fine.
Monsters are. I'll give you one. Monsters are due. Monsters are due on Maple Street. I think that is a completely overrated episode, and I don't know why.
But it's still really good though, because I know plenty of neighborhoods that would be just like that.
Yeah, it shows paranoia. It's a study in paranoia. Then there's the interior pamphlet of volume 2 of the Laserdisc set. I should have shown that one first. That's the front. There's the interior. There's, I think, the back. Yeah, and then there's volume 3 of the Twilight Zone Laserdisc collection. And I have other pictures I haven't uploaded yet. I still didn't upload all the photos. I took some, but here's a neat little piece of memorabilia from the Twilight Zone pinball machine. This is from my collection. This is just a coaster. It's really nice. I like it. I like the artwork on it. It's thick. It's not cheaply made. This is from 1993. I've already shown you the compact discs. I'm going to play a clip now, and then I'll upload the pictures because there's a couple other pictures of collectibles I did want to share with everybody. And no, Sarah, I didn't mean because of you. I want to do it on my show. I just mean so that.
No, I was just laughing because I texted you a while back and asked you if we were going to do another one on your show or something like that, or maybe I whatever. I think I did something to the effect. I don't know. And mine being rather high. Listen, okay. I know I was rather high.
This is kind of cool. These clips, I think these are Rod Serling doing next week promos, which are on the DVDs and the Blu-rays, but they're always cut from the reruns for time so they can air more commercials. Let's watch some of these, and then I have a couple other clips. Sarah, this is 6 minutes long. Is that going to be too long for your show?
Do you know who I am? Just play the damn thing.
All right, here we go.
Rod Serling, the creator of Twilight Zone, will tell you about next week's story after this word from our alternate sponsor.
And now, Mr. Serling.
Next week, you'll see these bandages unwrapped, and you'll get a good close look at the face beneath them. It's an excursion into the odd and into the very, very different. Our play is called The Eye of the Beholder, and it comes recommended. I hope we'll see you next week on The Twilight Zone. Thank you and good night.
And now, Mr. Serling.
One of next week's stars is alongside me now. She'll appear in a most unusual tale called The Lonely. It's a story that takes place on an asteroid, and it's a most intriguing premise. It sounds it. Next week on The Twilight Zone, Jack Warden, John Daner, and Jean Marsh appear in a bizarre tale of a man and a woman. I don't understand it either. Thank you and good night. You've probably run across these penny machines that tell your fortune. You put a penny in, and out comes a card. Only this particular machine, which you'll see next week, is a little bit unique in that the fortunes that it tells happen to come true. A most intriguing tale called The Nick of Time by Mr. Richard Matheson, and you're invited to partake of it. Thank you and good night. Next week, we bring you a show called The Invaders, written by Mr. Richard Matheson. And in this room, you'll watch Miss Agnes Moorehead in a tension-riddled attempt at escape from a pair of very improbable housebreakers. This one we recommend to science fiction buffs, fantasy lovers, or to anyone who wants to grip the edge of his seat and take a 24-minute trip into the realm of terror.
And now, Mr. Serling.
Next week, you'll ride up front in this wagon on a trek west. Your itinerary is across the Great Plains over the Rockies to a point in New Mexico. And you'll ride alongside Mr. Cliff Robertson in a strange tale of a handful of American pioneers who made a detour in time and found themselves one afternoon on the fringe of the future. Our story is called 100 Yards Over the Rim, and believe me, it's quite a view. I hope we'll see you then. It's been said that singularly the most difficult feat of all mankind is to find a needle in a haystack. On the Twilight Zone next time, we do it one better. We pose a problem of finding a Martian in a snowbank. It all adds up to a kind of extraterrestrial who's who with a couple of laughs and more than a couple of tensions. We recommend this to the space buffs and the jigsaw puzzle addicts. Next time on the Twilight Zone, our story is called Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? Next week, we borrow from the exceptional talent of author Jerome Bixby. It's an adaptation of what has been called one of the most terrifying modern fantasies ever written. What you'll see is, in a sense, a portrait of a monster as a young boy. Next week's very special excursion into the Twilight Zone is called It's a Good Life. I hope we see you then. Next week, we engage in a game of pool. That's both an activity and a title. A play written by George Clayton Johnson and starring Mr. Jack Klugman and Mr. Jonathan Winters. It's the story about the best pool player living and the best pool player dead. And this one we submit will stay with you for quite a while. Next week on the Twilight Zone, a game of pool.
Rod Serling, creator of the Twilight Zone, will tell you about next week's story after this message. And now, Mr. Serling.
Next week, we see what will happen to a world that with each passing hour draws closer and closer to the sun. This is a nightmare in depth, in which we watch two doomed women spend their last hours struggling for survival against a fiery orb that moves over the top of a hot, still, deserted city. We call it the Midnight Sun, and we also recommend it most heartily.
And now, Mr. Serling.
Next week, we burrow deep into the most inner confines of Kookland and hopefully wind up dead center of the oddest portion thereof. We'll bring you a story called To Serve Man, written originally by Damon Knight. Now, if you've ever wondered how we'd react to the arrival of some honest-to-Pete saucers, next week's diet should be your meat. On the Twilight Zone, To Serve Man. On the Twilight Zone next comes more exciting work from the typewriter of Richard Matheson. Our show is called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. William Shatner and Christine White share performing honors in an aircraft. But it's the kind of flight none of us have ever experienced, and I might add, I hope none of us ever will. Nightmare at 20,000 feet, next time out on The Twilight Zone. Next on The Twilight Zone, a rather probing study of ice, irony, and the ionosphere. A show titled The Long Morrow. It stars Robert Lansing and Mariette Hartley, and it tells the story of an incredible trip into space with the sole occupant of the craft living in suspended animation. This one is for space addicts and the romantically inclined. On the Twilight Zone, The Long Morrow. Next on Twilight Zone, we move into New Orleans for the Mardi Gras. And we do it with a vengeance. Robert Keith and Milton Seltzer appear in a bizarre story of men, masquerades, and masks. This is a small shocker to wind up a week. And if it doesn't send you to a psychiatrist, it'll send you at least to a mirror. On Twilight Zone next, The Masks. Next week, a distinguished actor lends us his talents as Mr. Burgess Meredith stars in Time Enough at Last, the story of a man who seeks salvation in the rubble of a ruined world. We hope you'll share this very strange experience with us. Thank you, and good night.
Wow, I like that. I love that. I know a lot of people probably nodded off, but I thought that was good. Interesting
I
stuff.
enjoyed it.
I see Al watching backstage. Hey, can I play this real quick? This is not as long as that. I just want to play for Al while he's still watching and listening. This little promo for Twilight Zone for VHS with the Fox VHS logo. I just love this. That was the wrong one. Where?
CBS Fox Video presents a collector's preview. Respectfully submitted for your perusal, iron oxide on a mylar backing, housed in a small plastic box. Common household name, a video cassette. But viewer beware, this particular video cassette contains some rather disturbing images. Do not be afraid, for you are witnessing the shapes and sounds of a classic television experience. There are 8 episodes of this phenomenon packaged in this initial 4-volume journey into the unknown. Your next stop, a sampling of the Twilight Zone collection. In Volume 1, Agnes Moorehead is a lonely woman facing a nightmare when she discovers her home is the chosen site for the invaders. And
you're lying to me.
A frightened old woman faced with a grim decision whether or not to open her door. Is it Robert Redford or death itself she's afraid of? She's about to discover that there's nothing in the dark that isn't there when the lights are on in the Twilight Zone. In Volume 2, Burgess Meredith is a small man in glasses who wanted nothing more than a little time alone to read, and got it. Meet the only man on Earth who has time enough at last.
There's all the time I need and all the time I want.
And welcome to Maple Street, USA, a friendly little neighborhood that doesn't stay that way.
There's nothing working on this street. Nothing. No lights, no power, no radio. Nothing except one car, yours.
How do you figure it started, Lance?
Yeah, how do you explain that?
You see, monsters are due on Maple Street, and the minds of frightened men turn into very lethal weapons in the Twilight Zone. Volume 3 takes us up into the not-so-friendly skies. Consider the Odyssey of Flight 33 en route to New York.
Somehow, some way, this aircraft has gone back into time.
And Portrait of a Frightened Man. William Shatner is Robert Wilson, a nervous flyer who's about to discover a change in his itinerary. For Mr. Wilson's appointed destination happens to be a nightmare at 20,000 feet in the Twilight Zone. In Volume 4, a sports item circa the future. It's 1974, and androids have replaced humans in the boxing ring.
Look, you broke it, now you fix it!
Lee Marvin is a man called Steel, a study in courage. Because the real story here is the definition of a loser, or just exactly when are you down and out. Then, onto a simple game of pool with some not-so-simple stakes.
You beat me, and you live. You lose, and you die.
Jack Klugman will risk anything to be the best at something.
I think that. I become the greatest. Shoot that ball, and you may win more than you bargained for.
Jonathan Winters knows just how high the stakes can get in the Twilight Zone. A parting piece of advice. The Prudent will collect all 4 volumes of this initial series now in anticipation of future releases. For the wise man knows this isn't just a video cassette offer. It's a one-way ticket into the misty region known as the Twilight Zone Collection.
There you go. And Shatner with the thing on the plane, that was directed by Richard Donner. I didn't mention that. Director of The Omen and Superman the movie, Lethal Weapon movies, etc., etc., etc. I think Sarah's gone. I'm going to play one other quick clip. While I see Al's still back there. Huh?
Yeah, you can hear me?
I've totally taken over your show. People got to hate me in chat.
No, I'm like, no, it's fine. My internet cut out there. I lost you guys for a minute. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
You never went down at my end, or wow, okay.
Oh, on my end, you guys all kind of cut out because my internet went down for a minute.
That's bizarre. Hey, can I play one other little promo for Twilight Zone? It's showing episodes we discussed tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, just finish up your thing, and then we'll go to my thing, and then we'll end the thing.
Okay.
There you You're good.
Because I still want to talk about Gil Gerard's birthday and show the Twilight Zone pinball machine. That'll put Al to sleep for sure. But let's watch some other promos for VHS releases.
CBS Video presents a collector's preview. Respectfully submitted for your perusal, Iron oxide on a mylar backing, housed in a small plastic box. Common household name, a video cassette. But viewer beware, this particular video cassette contains some rather disturbing images. Do not be afraid, for you are witnessing the shapes and sounds of a classic television experience. There are now 4 more volumes of this phenomenal journey into the unknown. Your next stop, a sampling of the Twilight Zone collection. In Volume 5, everyone knows you can never go back, or can you?
What do you want, young man?
Mom, don't you know me? I'm Martin.
Gig Young is taking a much-needed vacation down memory lane, only to discover he is just walking distance from reality.
You are Martin Sloan. Of course you are. That's the way I looked.
And
Senile? Me?
a living thing in a dying place, faced with a simple choice, to kick the bucket or kick the can. But trying to find the secret of youth is like trying to wake the dead.
Wake up! Wake up! Oh, this is your last chance. I can't play kick the can alone.
An optimistic old man with one foot in the grave and the other in the Twilight Zone. In Volume 6, meet Luther Dingle, a weak little man with a weak little mind.
I think we have found our subject. Give him, around 11 secograms atomic weight. That should make him roughly 300 times stronger than the average human being.
Burgess Meredith and Don Rickles star in Mr. Dingle the Strong, the story of a mental midget with all the power in the world and not a clue as what to do with it. Then onto a deserted town and two victims of war. Charles Bronson and Elizabeth Montgomery are soldiers on opposite sides of a losing battle. But exactly who or what are they fighting in the Twilight Zone? In Volume 7, Jack Klugman is a deadbeat who knows the score. He's played and paid his last 8 to the bar and thinks death is the only tune left. But viewer, take note, this horn player blew it.
Right now you're in a kind of a limbo, Joey. You're neither here nor there.
Unless a simple passage for trumpet is enough for him to live for. When this conman scam backfires, he has a special way of saving face.
Think of a face. Think of a face.
Tonight, this two-faced liar has picked 3 different lives to hustle. Unfortunately, all 4 of us are dying because looks can kill when you're in the Twilight Zone. In Volume 8, a grandmother's love can be a special thing unless the grandma wants to take it with her.
Billy, who were you talking to on the phone just now? Grandma. She's lonesome. She wanted to know if I can come stay with her. Can I, Mama? Can I?
Billy Mummy's request seemed simple enough, except this was a long-distance call on a toy telephone from a dead grandmother who wants to reach out and take someone.
Short or tall?
Pick out a body, the right eyes, add some hair and a human emotion or two, and I sing the body electric. Welcome to the future, where you can order a grandmother to your exact specifications.
I don't want her here. She's a machine. Nothing but an old machine.
Anne, you'd be surprised, my dear, how much a machine can do.
Veronica Cartwright has yet to learn that this newfangled grandmother can live and love forever in the Twilight Zone. A parting piece of advice. The prudent will collect all 8 volumes of this timeless series. For the wise man knows this isn't just a video cassette offer. It's a one-way ticket into the misty region known as the Twilight Zone Collection.
What do you think?
Nice.
Should I bring Al back on wave? Al, you want to come back or no? I say no. Okay.
Nah, he's in his boxes now.
I thought we could get away with that, with the bots, the way they're edited, and it looks like we did. So cool. You could get a sample of scenes from the Twilight Zone for those like your friend who didn't know who Adam West was, who may not have ever seen him before.
Right, yeah. Okay. I'm a little high. So now.
Did you want to say anything? Go ahead.
I was saying, did you have any more left I forgot where we're at here. So yeah, go ahead and play a couple more then, if you want.
Just a couple more, not about the show, about the movie, Twilight Zone, the movie.
Yeah,
Here's a 50-second trailer, and then I have a little scene from that movie.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't see it. Hope it loaded. Yeah, here we go.
All right, good.
John Landis, American Werewolf in London. Steven Spielberg, E.T. Joe Dante, The Howling. George Miller, Mad Max. These acclaimed directors take you to another dimension. A journey into a wondrous land whose only boundaries are your imagination. Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
So that was a little teaser trailer to the movie, but it's kind of like what we did tonight, Sarah. We're reminiscing with Al Hardy about classic Twilight Zone, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Kind of like what these guys are doing in the movie in this brief scene.
We're driving along here, right? Yeah. Imagine not running out of gas. We have plenty of gas, all right? Yeah. Oh my God. What are those gravel beds up ahead? They're gonna fly up and knock out our lights. Uh-oh. Blackness. Oh my goodness. Why, there could be nuns ahead. We wouldn't even see them. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's too safe.
I used to play chicken and see how far we could drive without someone, either the passenger or the driver, going stop.
Well, I don't know.
God,
I think you better just...
Who's chicken, huh? Is that a bear up there, huh? Huh? Uh-oh, more pebbles. Oh my goodness, it looks like they're out permanently this time.
This is dangerous.
No, it's the road straight. It's just kind of scary. What is that up
Something
ahead?
might come up
Big,
ahead.
Huge
Yeah, right.
Squirrel. Ooh. Chicks love that.
That's scary enough.
I know, I like it. Hey, you like trivia?
Yeah.
Okay. Want to play TV theme songs?
Sure.
You know how to play that? I'll hum a theme song. If you guess it, you get to hum one. If I guess it, I get to have it back. If you get 3 in a row, you win.
Okay, I'm good at that.
Okay, I'll start. Ba ba da da, ha 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 ha. Ba da da da, ha ha ha. Want a hint? Ba.
Sea Hunt.
Sea Hunt. Go.
All right. Bum 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 do do do.
Perry Mason.
You got it.
Bumper 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 pa pa.
Bonanza. All right. Real
McCoy.
No. Fred Gwynn was in
Beverly
it.
Hillbillies.
No.
Car 54.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for the Fred Gwynn.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
How about this one? Know it? Look at that fossil. It's stuck over there in the tar. Bum bum. Look at that old man. He looks like an old ape. Bum bum. What is it?
No.
Look at that old bone. It could be worth $1. What is it?
I don't know.
Look at those 2 apes. This must be where they lived. Bum bum. Look at that city. Let's continue to dig. What is it?
Really don't know.
It's National Geographic. National Geographic.
Okay. All right. Okay, I got one for you.
Okay. Yes. What is it? I don't know, but you're doing it great. It sounds like it was on CBS. You know what? I don't know.
Book them down.
Book them down.
Book them down.
One more hint. What was this? Locale.
Surfboards.
Locale.
An island in the Pacific Ocean with Jack Lord.
Hawaii 5-0.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. I thought I was good at this.
Did you ever watch The Twilight Zone?
Oh, God. Remember The Twilight Zone with Burgess Meredith? Remember, he loved to read, and there was a nuclear war, and he had no friends anyway, and he was down in the basement of the library. Yes, he was the last man. He broke his glasses.
Yeah.
This thing freaked me out. When I was 7 years old, I bought another pair of glasses just in case that would happen.
Oh, those shows. They were so good. They were so scary.
Yeah. Oh, great.
They were great. Remember the one where the guy had the stopwatch? somebody in a bar gave him a stopwatch, and he was this real obnoxious guy, and he took the stopwatch, and he hit it, and everybody else in time froze but him.
That's an Outer Limits.
No, that was a zone.
That's an Outer Limits.
That was a zone.
Oh, they had one about the mannequins that got 2 weeks off and turned into humans, and they were allowed to go out and shop for 2 weeks on their own, and then this one came back, and it was over 2 weeks, and the other mannequins went, come over here for a minute, and turned her into plastic.
Boy, they were scary. They were great.
I loved it.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
You bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really, really scary now.
I trust you.
Okay, pull the car over.
Pull the car over?
Ooh. You want to see it?
Well, show me while I'm driving.
No, I can't. I can't tell you about it. It's only take a couple of seconds.
All right, 2 seconds, okay?
Okay.
What is it?
Just pull it over.
Okay.
I'll show you.
All right.
Okay.
Scare me.
Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead. What are you doing?
The whole movie, why don't you, Chance? I love that opening in that movie. Anyway, I thought it was kind of.
It was great. It's great. I remember watching this as a kid. I was like, this is almost the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I saw the movie, so I was like, this is a great movie. I love this movie. Why did I not like it as a kid? I don't know. I was stupid. Shame on me. Anyways, and then, yeah, so I simply love this movie. Yeah. As an adult, what the hell? It's great. I mean, for the time, yeah, sure. Even better. But did it have some great stuff? Hell yeah.
Well, Kick the Can, Steven Spielberg directed that. That was a really good segment of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And we didn't even talk about the mannequin with Al, season 1. That Anne Francis, that's a great episode where all the mannequins take a vacation one at a time. They become human.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
that scene.
That is a good one.
So, I
Yes.
think I'll put your people to sleep. I had a great clip of Rod Serling shortly before he died in an interview. He was talking about race, but I don't know if we want to play that. Maybe I'll save that for my show. I don't know.
All right.
Might be a little too deep. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I still got a couple things that I need to play too. So 3.
Al's waving by behind the stage. Behind the scenes.
Bye, Al.
It's a great clip. But I'll save it for another time. What else? I want to show you this too.
ISS.
The pinball machine from 1993.
Yes, please do that.
This is really cool. Twilight Zone pinball machine. Let me just show you a couple different angles.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination.
So as you could hear, they were playing the Golden Earring song, Twilight Zone. Down, 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 down. You ever heard that song, Sarah? I'm sure you have.
Yes.
On Fistful, probably when my retro music cuts.
There, a lot of places. Listen, my ears have heard things. When I find my ears, they've heard things. I swear.
Here's another angle of the pinball machine. You see, well, let me play this one, and I'll play. That's. Little tour.
Thought I went deaf. This is the silent portion to remember all the fallen pinball machines. Thank you for your concern.
All right, I just like that shot. And the last one, this is a close-up shot where this guy was going to put modification or mods in his Twilight Zone pinball game, but you can see more. I just think the artwork is brilliant in this game, and it's wide too. It was one of three. There was Star Trek: The Next Generation, Indiana Jones: The Pinball Adventure, and Twilight Zone, made that year by Bally and Williams Electronics out of Chicago, Illinois. And you can play this Twilight Zone game at places that still have it. Here in Atlanta, a place has it called Portal Pinball. Anyway, but let me just show a little bit more of the game.
You can play the machine where it's located in your nearest place it's located at. There you go, guys. Go find the place.
If you look it up, there's a website, Pinball Locator, and you put in your zip code.
Wow, that's way more helpful.
Where the game is around the country, around the world, actually. I think it's pretty neat. Pin side.
Yeah, once you tell them that they gotta do it, you just like, go do it, guys. Like, they know.
Yeah, I shouldn't assume everybody knows about this. All right, so let me just show you a little bit more of the game because I'm a pinball nerd.
Okay, Twilight Zone Pinball. This is a rare fish for me. I finally caught one. I wanted to show a couple of my friends some of the mods I've bought and installed and some of the ones I've built for it. I figured it'd just be easier to give a short video and upload it on YouTube. So I bought this a few months ago. It's in very good condition. The artwork, I'm sure it's hard to see because it's dark in here right now, but it's not faded. Very few dings, scratches, scuffs, anything like that. Playfield's in great shape. So it has the little light up flipper buttons that was installed by the previous owner. The blade decals, the vinyl on the sides, those were installed by the previous owner. I bought the rocket ship that flashes when the rocket ship launches the ball. Bought that, put that in. I bought a Talking Tina doll, which I'm going to place right here. I have to make her light up and flash when the gumball is lit. I did the little lane lights in the alleys or the gutters or whatever you would want to call them. Those are easy to do. Bought a few lights off of Amazon, wired them in, and adds a nice little touch. It's pretty standard. Lots of people do that. It's a big impact, easy to do, very inexpensive. Bought the little car here for the Hitchhiker episode. Cut the roof off because it was a solid body. I wanted it to be a convertible. I installed the lights. I got headlights and taillights I installed. They're hooked up to the start button, so they flash when you're not using the game, but while you're using the game, they light up solid. I will be installing the lights that activate with the magnets here on the upper playfield. I'll do that a little later. Haven't done that yet. I've got the camera. It's a larger camera. I like it. The decals over the light here cover that obnoxious stainless steel, and the decal here on the ramp covers that obnoxious stainless steel. The piano was previously installed. That's pretty standard. Most people have that. Got the clock that lights up and the hand moves for Clocks a Million. That's pretty cool, although I already accidentally ripped off the moving hand, but I'll fix that. Robbie the Robot, he was installed by the previous owner. I got the TV, I bought that. I love that. I installed that. That's so cool. I love how it just plays episodes of the Twilight Zone while you play the game. And I just built the airplane. I've got the wingtip markers hooked up to the start button, so they currently flash while you're not playing the game, but they'll be solid while you play. But I will eventually wire them up to their own little circuit so they'll flash continuously. And I obviously did the cabin lights too and painted it to match the Thing on the Wing episode plane. I also have the slot machine. I'm going to be building that too. It's hard to find. It's a pencil sharpener that you build into the slot machine. That'll go right here and that'll spin and light up and flash. I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's interesting. I'm sorry if anyone was bored by that, but I just think it's really cool.
I got those runs with the leaky lights, and I think I best. Great. I'll watch that part back later on. Might be a little. I
love pinball. Have you ever played that game before, Sarah?
Well, You know what? I don't know if I have played that or not. I played many pinball in my time, but like I was saying earlier to you, the only pinball that I ever really wanted to play, was at the roller rink in Temecula, whatever the fuck it was called, who knows now. Anyways, it was there, right? And when I got to go skate there to go play pinball, I'd save some extra money to play pinball. Obviously, I didn't go get food or anything stupid like that, or get extra skate time. I played Star Trek. Anyway, so I played TNG pinball. I know I played that religiously when I was there every time I could, and yeah. But since then, I've played pinballs many places, and I can't say for sure if I have or not, because after a while, I stopped remembering why I liked pinball so much, other than just playing it, right? And then one day, I got nostalgic for pinball, and I looked into it again. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot my pinball roots, and I felt the shame, such shame, very shameful.
Bowling alleys had pinball machines too, back in the
Yeah,
90s and stuff. It's not just arcades. You could find them, and it's had a comeback. I mean, there's a lot of bars, places that have liquor licenses
Oh yeah,
that have
Dave and
pinball
Buster's
retro.
out here in America, or in California, anyways.
Buster's,
I
we
know
have those
they
here
have.
too.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. So Dave and Buster's, probably pretty much everywhere has them. They have a assortment of pinballs. I got played Star Wars there last time I was there. So, like, I can tell you that when I played all the time as a kid, and then I can tell you when when I played as an adult the last time I played. So there you go.
Oh, we got some great comments coming in. 351 Cleveland Modified Motor says there's a channel called Joe's Classic Video Game Machines. He reviews the old arcade games and reconditions them and sells them. I'm going to check that out. I've seen several channels like that. Appreciate that, 351. I'm going to look at that because I have two pinball machines. Cyclone, which is a 1988 game by Williams about an amusement park theme. It has a little Ferris wheel in it and other goodies, but no multi-ball, unfortunately. And then I have Indiana Jones, The Pinball Adventure, a prototype, which has 6-ball multi-ball and 3 video game modes in it. And it's super wide, just like that Twilight Zone game by Bally. It was really the same company, Bally Williams. Anyway, some pinball games would say Williams Pinball. Some would say Bally. Some would say Data East. They were different manufacturers. Now Stern makes them these days.
Listen, I'm not a reader, and no, I never read that.
I'm on a pinball machine, by the way, the playfield from Walking Dead and the Walking Dead pinball game, Sarah. One day I'll send you a picture. You see my face on there. I'm not as prominent as some of my coworkers that were on the back glass by the score, but I'm on there.
It's too bad they don't use my little short to put on that pinball machine of yours. It's just like the feature you just doing that. That'd be epic. You imagine you're just like the intro to the thing now, right? You know what I mean? And then you just see that going over again. Everyone's like, I want to do that. How do you get that score? Champ score for sure. You're welcome.
Oh man.
Yeah, and that's what I'm here to next Tuesday and every Tuesday. You're welcome. I think.
Oh man, that's classic. So, we're gonna watch that Twilight Zone, aren't we? We're gonna watch.
I have wanted to play before that. It's the little thing that Billy Mummy talks about, Twilight Zone thing.
And the guy in the Fox video I played mispronounced his name. He said Bill Mummy. It's Boomy, and it's an easy mistake to make. But anyway, that's funny in that official old 20th Century Fox promo. The guy says Bill Mummy. Anyway,
all right, I need to get over to my brand.
Okay, well then I won't touch a thing.
Congratulations! Don't touch anything. Well, I get over to my brand, which is my brand. The top one says me. Who knew? All right, now I gotta remember what the heck I'm doing here. I gotta push buttons now. Fuck. All right, this is awesome. All right, so I got one little thing here, and then we got, I think, the thing, and then another thing after that thing, okay?
Okie dokie, Smokey.
This is like 8 minutes, though, but this is relevant to the thing we'll play after this.
Cool.
It's like a spaz. Oh, you're welcome.
It's a Good Life, playing Anthony Fremont, who has the ability to read everyone's thoughts, and if he's displeased with those thoughts, he'd mess you up. He'd send you to the cornfield, or he'd turn you into a jack-in-the-box, or whatever or he'd just put you on fire, or whatever he might do. Anthony Fremont was a character that I loved playing, because even though he wasn't Superman or Zorro, he wasn't a caped superhero or anything like that, but he was the epitome of the most powerful superhero you could imagine. So to me, even though it's not a hero, but to me at 7 years old, you know, playing Anthony was just really kind of what I had wanted to get into TV to do in the first place. And James Sheldon, who directed Long Distance Call, directed It's a Good Life. And I had worked with Cloris Leachman previously on the Loretta Young show. So it was a comfortable gathering of folks. And I remember, I mean, it's a silly memory, but I'll share it with you. We lived in Beverlywood, and we shot that out at like Universal or something. I can't remember where we shot it, but my mom had this pink 59 Cadillac. She drove a pink 59 Cadillac. And I was, even at that age, I was kind of embarrassed to be seen in that car. It was huge. And I used to sit on the top of there were no seatbelts in those days. And I would sit on the top where the speakers were. I was so little, I'd curl up where the speakers were, and we'd listen to KFWB, and I'd like listen to the Beach Boys and Ricky Nelson and stuff. But I remember driving to and from that gig using Anthony's powers to make the lights green. I mean, I carried Anthony Freeman. There's two characters I've probably carried with me, which is silly. But, you know, one is Anthony Fremont, the other's Will Robinson. But, boy, I loved playing Anthony Fremont, and I completely got what he was. Even as there was no, I don't get this, or I'm just going to hit my mark and blah, blah, blah. I understood that everybody was in total fear of this guy because he knew exactly what you were thinking moment to moment, and man, if he wasn't happy, you were in trouble. And that was so much fun for me. I loved that show. I loved that show.
So when you got a part like that, did someone explain to you those themes, or did you?
James Sheldon, the director, he made it real clear. I mean, it was, you know, it was as clear as it could be. Yeah. He and I worked on the look of Anthony using his power. Not when Anthony wasn't using his power, but there's that, you know, the eyes get real big, but there's a little, like the nostrils flare a little bit. Yeah, and he and I worked on that before we started shooting. He was cool. I liked James Sheldon. We ran into each other socially a few times over the years, and I was always appreciative that I got to work with him.
Why do you think that episode resonates with people?
Because it's great. Because everyone in the cast is just so good. John Larch and Cloris Leachman, and forgive me for forgetting some of the Max Schumwalter, and you know, it's based on a great story by Jerome Bixby and a teleplay by Rod Serling, and it scares the shit out of you, and it's black and white, and most of the you know, special effects are left to your imagination, which I think is great about the Twilight Zone. There are episodes of the Twilight Zone where, okay, here's the mask and here's the thing, and I think those are weaker than the ones where your own mind has to play. You know, when Anthony turns him into a Jack-in-the-Box, you just basically see a shadow. You know, you see a beat of that head, but it's mostly left to your imagination, and the choices there were just great. And I you know, there's a lot of people who want to explain the hidden meaning of that show, that undisciplined children or the undisciplined United States will turn. I mean, all that stuff, that may be well and good, but to me, he was just the ultimate mutant, and he was cranky. I loved that show. Really, really proud to be a part of that one.
So then in 2003, you actually did a sequel to it.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Well, that was a real treat, and as far as I'm concerned, if that bookends the whole bit, you know, that's cool. My friend and neighbor, Ira Bear, was offered the opportunity to produce a revival of the Twilight Zone for, I think it's UPN. And he came to me. I had done a Star Trek Deep Space Nine for him. Our kids went to school together. We're good friends. He came to me and he said, boy, I don't know if I'm going to take this gig, you know? And I remember saying, you have to take this gig. You have to. And he was like, and I said, you have to because you can protect it. I said, you'll protect, the legacy of the Twilight Zone. You have to take that responsibility. And I think I really was a pivotal part of his, decision to take that gig. Because I did feel like if you don't do it, someone else is going to mess it up. And you can't let the Twilight Zone get messed up. I would have preferred initially, don't do it. Don't anybody do it. The Twilight Zone is Rod Serling's. Leave it Rod Serling's. Because in history, when we look back on the Twilight Zone now, there's going to be kind of 3 appendages, and 2 of them aren't connected to Rod Serling, and I don't really think that that's necessarily a good choice. But if they're going to go ahead and do it, Ira, please do it. You have to do it. And this was long before we knew that we were going to do a sequel to It's a Good Life. That was actually my idea. He took the series and he started doing it, and I said to him, wouldn't it be interesting to see what Anthony Fremont was up to now? And he went, oh, yes. And Cloris was a friend. I had been in a band with her son, George, and I saw her reasonably often. I said, we could get Cloris. I know she'd do it. And he was like, wow, that's an idea. So I wrote a treatment for what I thought it would be like. And he wrote a treatment, and we exchanged them. And his treatment included my daughter, Liliana, who had started working on camera, a little earlier than that. And so I really liked, his idea. It was like, wow. How cool if we could go back to something that classic. I mean, TV Guide had called It's a Good Life one of the best 100 shows of television, which is a very, it's nice. It's not going to get you pizza, but it's still nice. It's very flattering to be a part of something like that. So to include my daughter and work with Cloris again was just too good not to do. And Ira is a very honorable man. And obviously, we went with his outline. And he gave me his word as a gentleman that if I didn't like this script, he wouldn't do it. That he wouldn't do it with anyone else. He would not cast anyone else to do this. And if I didn't feel the script that he delivered to me was something Rod Serling would have given a thumbs up to, that he said, I'll pull the plug on the whole thing, which was very generous of him. And I loved his script. He took some suggestions that I made and tweaks and things like that. We got Cloris on board, and it was a beautiful experience and a real rare opportunity to return to something that is a benchmark in your career and feel good about it, So that was a real blessing.
Cool. I liked it. He's a good speaker. And he did a lot of narration of the A&E biographies for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I like Bill Mumy. Yeah, that was cool. I love everything he had to say. Thank you for sharing that. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so I asked because I was hoping my friends you hadn't seen it before. Okay, sorry, it was a personal goal of mine because I'm like, how do I compete with the epic power of chance? I don't know. By chance,
we're friends. And
by chance. But a boom. He's all getting all back. I see where you're going with this. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this. By chance, I found something that he hadn't seen. Amazing. Anyways, that was probably just me stumbling over myself because, professional I am not. Anyways, but yeah, so cool. Ooh.
So are we going to watch the episode now or what? What do you want to do next?
Yeah, well, we don't have to watch the whole episode. We can watch at least some of it because, again, it says no copyright on it. So we'll see what that really means playing it live.
Okay.
Because who knows? Yeah, so it's like a 20-minute thing, so we don't have to watch the whole thing. It's on my channel, so they can go watch it later, really. But we can watch some of it anyways, right?
Okay. I've never seen it.
Well, all right, then. Then maybe we'll just, who knows? But, yeah. So, all right, I gotta add that. Switch over to this layout. There we go. Now, I have to get my mouse over to, oh my gosh, where'd my mouse go? I already lost my mouse. Okay. And I'm going to hit play.
40 years ago, Rod Serling introduced us to a monster. A monster so powerful he was able to make the world disappear just.
Hey, and you know who that is?
I don't recall.
Wow. That just
Why
skipped
do you
ahead.
ask?
That was amazing.
I'm asking
Excuse me.
you.
Don't worry about that. Sorry about that. What was that?
40 years ago.
Sorry, what was that?
You know who's introducing that, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do.
Sam, say it.
I'm too high to say his name. That's for damn sure. Now he's Googling it.
I was, because I was like, I was putting it on you. It's hang on. He's an Oscar-winning actor.
I know. I
can't think of his name. Wait a minute. Hold on. What's going on here? What's going on here? Oh God, he's a great actor too. Forrest Whitaker. That's Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker.
Yes. That's why I should not said his name, because you know how I would. The last name would just come out really bad. It's about all just and all that. So thank you, Chance, for saving me with your Googles. Okay, I'm gonna play this now without trying to skip ahead because sorry about that. I don't know how I did that. All right, I'm just gonna hit freaking play. Just play.
Rod Serling introduced us to a monster. A monster so powerful he was able to make the world disappear just by using his mind.
All right.
For the residents of Peaksville, Ohio.
It's like Mystery Science 2000 now.
The monster knew every thought, could feel their every emotion, and when they made him angry, which was often, he would banish them into a cornfield from which there was no return.
Did you see
And the
his
most
eye
frightening
plot on his
thing
head?
about this monster was that he was only 6 years old. Now,
Oh, look at the little boy.
it's 40 years later.
I mean,
and the people of Peaksville are
he's a good
still
boy.
in hell.
He's a good boy.
Oh, yes, there's one other thing.
He's a good boy.
The monster now has a child of his own.
That's
And
his
though
daughter.
She possesses none of her
Yep.
father's
Yes,
powers.
it is.
He still loves
That's
her.
what he said in that.
He's not a baby. She made him a grandfather.
Audrey,
Oh,
I'm bored.
Nice.
Let's climb
Well, he
down.
already was a grandfather, but
You can
anyway.
see the whole
All
view
right,
from my
again.
bed.
Whee!
Big deal.
Yeah, this
All
is
the way
the
to the
only
inner
one
city.
of these remakes that I
grandma
watched
said the
because it
world
was
used to
done
go
like
past
this.
the
It was
interstate.
done good.
That was
There were some I thought
billion
were
years ago. Come on.
forgivable and just I don't why bother.
She
But
was
this-
so cute. She was in Santa Claus 2 and 3 and adorable as a child.
Definitely agree.
Good Bill Mooney.
Mm-hmm. I still think in Babylon 5 they did his character disservice. Never a fan of the ending of that.
You don't want Daddy to hear you. Audrey, please, sweetie.
But see, it's still whatever the hell her name was there. I fucking already forgot.
Yeah, they were just playing, that's all.
It's her?
Audrey, I've told you time and time again not to climb that tree. You took
Oh.
a few spills from those branches when you were little, remember, Anthony?
Yeah, but I didn't have anybody pulling me
Oh,
down.
hurt him,
Ugh.
Daddy. He didn't mean it. I know he didn't.
Please don't kill me.
I won't hurt Timmy, honey. He's your friend. And he's always thought good thoughts about us. Haven't you, Timmy?
Yes, sir. Always, sir.
Afternoon, Anthony. Agnes.
Chance, are you thinking good thoughts?
It's a nice day, isn't it?
Oh, it's a real nice day.
That thumbs up? I can't tell.
Well, let's go, son. Mom's waiting.
Tell me something, George. What kind of a boy
Yes,
pushes a
Lord.
little girl out of a tree?
A bastard, obviously. Son of a bitch. Doris con.
Did you do that, son?
Hell no.
It was an accident.
Well, it had to be. Timmy's a good boy.
Either put him in the cornfield. How could he be a good
Agnes,
boy?
I told you that wasn't a good idea.
Told her what, George?
It was nothing, Anthony. It was nothing.
Why wouldn't you want your son to play with my daughter?
I didn't say that.
No, but you're thinking it. You're thinking it right
Cornfield?
now, aren't you?
No.
At all?
I thought you were my friend.
Anthony, I am.
Then why are you sweating?
I don't know. It's hot out here, isn't it?
Mom, are you
I
hot?
just said I was riding a bicycle. What a dumbass.
Don't. I've been around people like you all my life.
people who pretend to be my friend, pretend to like me. But you don't like me, do you, George?
Please, Daddy, stop!
I don't like you either.
So that guy's forever burning in the cornfield. How horrific.
Daddy? Daddy?
You better head on home, Timmy. Your mother's probably worried about you.
I killed her last week.
I bet Timmy will never play with me again, and it's all Daddy's
fault.
Now. You remember how important it is to think good thoughts about Daddy. There are times I get mad at him too, but I shield those thoughts. Remember how I taught you to do that?
I don't care. I hate him.
Look at her. She's school actress, man. That's awesome.
We don't want to make him angry.
I remember watching this.
I don't care. I
Like
hate
teens,
him.
thinking this is the best.
Yeah, power.
You're traveling to another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are only that of the imagination. You're entering the Twilight Zone.
Audrey, tell me, is this the first time you've ever done anything like this?
Are we gonna tell Daddy?
When the time is right. But until then, you mustn't use.
Are you want to keep going or skip ahead a little bit or what?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, man.
Okay, I just
I've never seen it.
Bring it up a little bit here. Okay.
Okay.
Just try to bring it up a little bit here, just in case, too. Just in case, because since it says doesn't mean it's
Oh, you're afraid. You're afraid.
What?
You're
No, I'm not
afraid of bots. I got you.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not afraid. This has no copyright on it, but I don't know what that means. Playing it live, right, versus uploading it. The difference, because YouTube is inconsistent with all of it. So that's my point. The experiment.
Well, you can stop the whole thing if you want. I'll just watch it on your channel.
No,
I mean,
it's fine. We'll play a little bit more. It's fine. Okay. It's fine. But yeah, it is on my channel there, guys. You can watch it.
You can't even think about them in front of your father.
Don't worry, Grandma. Daddy can't read my thoughts.
How do you know that?
Because I can read his.
Ooh, twist.
Daddy, what happens to people when you send them into the cornfield?
They get to stay there forever.
I know, but what kind of place is it?
Oh, it's a good place.
Everything's on fire. The Jack in the Box.
Good place, and
go there.
And the people that are there are happy all the time.
But if it's such a happy place, why do you only send them there when you're angry?
Well, I do it for their own good, so I won't hurt them anymore.
I'm gonna miss playing with Timmy. You think you could bring his daddy back so he'll play with me again?
I'm sorry, honey, but once I send something away, I can't bring it back.
Audrey, want to come for a walk with me?
Don't be too long. It's bowling night tonight.
Oh, bowling night.
Afternoon, Lorna. Oh, look, my favorite
Yay.
neighbors. See these tomatoes? They're the best I've grown in I don't know how long.
My word.
I was thinking of bringing some over to Anthony.
Oh, he does like his tomatoes. But first, I got something to show you. Something special. Sweetheart, see that big rock right over there?
Yes.
Don't smoke it.
You make it Go away.
She's not baking 7-gram rocks yet. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Woo!
Oh. Audrey, why don't you go play in the barn? Donna and I have some talking to do, okay?
I don't believe it. Agnes, it's what we've always dreamed about. Someone with the power to
Finally get rid of that monster I gave birth to. When I think of all the suffering, all those people sent away, my husband, your husband, even his own wife, your entire world, he took everything, left us nothing. Only I'd been strong enough, brave enough to bash his head in years ago.
No one blames you, Agnes. But will Audrey be strong enough to stand up to him?
Well, she will be. I'll make sure of it.
Night cooking.
That was real good, Anthony. A real good shot.
So picture this real quick here. I'm going to interject real quick. All
Don't
right?
give it away because I've never seen it.
Well,
please don't give away the ending.
Yeah, the ending is
You
it
can stop
happens.
it now if you want,
No,
because
no,
I have
no,
other
no, no.
stuff we both can talk about.
No, we're still good. I just want to picture this, okay? Right? You live in this town, and this dude wants to have bowling night every night on this whatever night, right? Can you imagine like having to go there? Just imagine that. That's poopy pants inducing. I don't care who you are. No thanks. I would rather, I think, be in the cornfield maybe. What?
That's poopy pants inducing. That's funny.
Well, it's true, right? I mean, agreed. They have to go there on a weekly basis
every night. No,
Yeah,
it was every
and-
night, wasn't it? Not just, or was it once a
Well,
week?
I think it's once a week. Listen, every night, once a week doesn't matter. It's poopy pants inducing. I mean, to live still in that town has got to be it. And also, they never discussed who the mother was, so it makes you wonder about that too. That's a whole nother subject, I guess.
The
But
mother,
my
well,
point-
his mother, of course, is Cloris Leachman's character.
I'm talking about who's his.
Oh, the
who-
woman that he
yes,
procreated with.
Yes, the procreation person, whatever that
Right.
means. Yeah. So so that's an interesting story.
The mother.
Makes you wonder.
Who's the mother?
Yeah. Anyways, point being,
That's not explained without spoiling anything. That's not explained in this.
It's not even an issue. Like they wrote this without that in mind at all.
That's weird. They should have explained that one.
Well,
that's like midichlorians or something with
yeah,
Anakin Skywalker.
it's probably one of those things where they just couldn't do a MacGuffin for it because time, and they just kind of left it blank. Hopefully, everybody would just care about the storyline and not the big MacGuffin of how good daughter at all.
Yeah.
You know, So that's what I just assume, right? But the rest of the story is pretty darn cohesive, and at the end, a pretty good ending. But that's the question I want to know there. You know, those kind of questions. But anyways, I'm gonna play now.
You don't have to play anymore if you don't want to. I'm going to watch it uninterrupted, and
That's fine. But
I'm into it now. I want to watch the rest of it before I go to sleep or something.
Okay, well, let me just play it then.
Okay.
I bet you rolled at least 5, maybe 600 perfect games over the years.
You never roll enough perfect games.
Oh, that is so true. Oh, you're such a smart boy, Anthony.
I'm not a boy, Mother.
Of course you're not. You've always been my little boy. All those freckles. It's no wonder I never had the heart to punish you.
Punish me? For what? And why is everybody staring over at Audrey?
Are they? I didn't notice.
She's playing pinball.
Because she's so happy.
Yep.
They're thinking good thoughts.
Told you when you had the pinball idea, I was like, Freaking mind reader.
I'll be back.
Told you.
Then I'm going to keep score for you. While you roll another perfect game, then everybody will be watching you. You know that thing we're talking about? I just told a few people.
I just wanted to give them some hope. I mean, they've been without hope for so long.
We can't risk Anthony finding out about Audrey's powers. Not yet, anyway.
Please, Anthony, I'd rather not.
I'm tired of bowling by myself.
Well, but I'm no good. You should find somebody who's better.
I want to play with you. Bowl.
There you go. There's Chance saying, I don't want a bowl. No thanks. I don't want a bowl.
Got a ball.
Big time.
This time, concentrate.
I will. You'll see.
You're not even trying.
Yes, I am, Anthony. I'm trying really hard.
Somebody do something. Agnes.
Anthony, please. Everyone knows you're the best bowler in town.
Well, they could at least try and beat me. That would make me happy. Don't you want me to be happy like everyone else? What about you, Joseph? You want me to be happy?
Do you want me to be happy, Chance? Do you want me to be happy?
Hey, Daddy. Want to play a game of pinball with me?
Yeah.
You're a good girl, Audrey. Isn't she a real good girl?
Yeah, how did she got here? It's brilliant.
Come on over here.
The Magic Daughter, my favorite.
Can we just go home? I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too.
Aw. 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 I remember my daddy picking me up like that.
There's no mention
Aw.
of the mother at all in this?
No, I believe I made that clear. There might be some recut that I don't know about because I never saw it, but
I can't wait to eat you.
kind of a fan of this if you didn't notice.
Secret?
I don't like secrets.
Anthony,
What were you and my mother talking about at the bowling alley?
were we talking?
Words?
Why don't you ask Agnes?
I'm asking you.
You. Oof.
It was something about Audrey, wasn't it? You better tell me. You better tell me right now.
And this is when your grandpa and I went to New York. You should have seen it. All those tall buildings and the different stores you could shop in.
Oh snap! New York is real at one point.
I never saw so many cars.
Why did Daddy get rid of cars?
Well, same reason he got rid of electricity. And those tall buildings and the stores and all the people.
But what reason?
Well, because they annoyed him or made him angry or frightened him. Oh, Audrey, will you look at this watch? Your grandpa gave that watch to me on our 2nd anniversary.
Aww.
Nobody has watches anymore. Did Daddy get rid of them too?
Oh, yeah.
One day,
Be on time?
he was late.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
And I guess I got a little annoyed. I showed him what time it was. And
That was the end of watches.
Voila.
It looks pretty.
it was.
All right. I think you're getting pretty tired.
No, what are you doing?
Well, I know. I saw the big old yawn. I'm looking at the screen.
It's okay.
Are you sure?
How much more time is there left on the clip? 12 minutes?
It's not a clip. It's the whole thing.
I mean, on video.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever it says there. Don't ask me to do numbers. That's far too much right now. I don't know. It's was it Reddit? Oh, you can't see that up on the screen, or can you? Can you? I don't know. Jesus.
I mean, are you stopping it or what are you doing?
No, I was trying to figure out if you wanted me to play it again. Then I lost the mouse. So yeah, I'm gonna play. Sorry.
All right.
Anyways, Enjoyed that pause. You're welcome. And we're back.
To Agnes with love, Billy.
She brought it back.
You like it, don't you?
You can bring things back.
Mom? Audrey?
Maybe we shouldn't tell Daddy. It might make him feel bad. You know, because he can't bring things back.
All right. Maybe we won't tell him. Guess what I heard? People,
I guess. What?
They're keeping secrets about my daughter.
What about her?
Don't lie to me, Mother.
Don't hurt her!
I'm not gonna hurt her. But I don't know if I can ever trust her again. Or anyone else.
Man.
Except you, honey. I got an idea. Let me see you send something away.
Like what?
Like that photo album. Mom, it's okay if Audrey sends away your photo album, isn't it?
Of course it's okay. It's just a bunch of silly old photos.
Did you see that? Oh, that was good, Audrey. That was really good.
And you're not mad at me?
Why would I be? You're special. Like me. I'm calling a town meeting at the bowling alley tomorrow afternoon.
What about?
That's my secret.
Lorna? It's me, my dear. Lorna? Can you hear me?
I had to punish her. She was sneaky, and I don't like sneaky people.
No one can argue with that. Sneaky people are bad people, aren't they, honey?
It's true. See, Mom? They agree with me. Well, it turns out that Peaksville is filled with sneaky people, and they all have to be punished.
But Anthony, we're your friends.
I don't believe you, Joe. That's why you can be the first person on my list. Now I need 3 more.
3 more for what?
To be sent away where sneaky people belong.
Oh my God.
Cynthia, you can be number 2. And you can be number 3. And you can be number 4.
Anthony, you can't do this.
Of course I can. It's easy.
I knew about Audrey's powers before anyone, so if you have to send somebody to the cornfield, send me.
Stay out of this.
Grandma, you're gonna make him mad.
That's not all I'd like to do. For 40 years, I did nothing while you tortured the people of this town. I sat back and watched while you destroyed everything I cared about, everything I loved.
Not everyone. You love me.
Love you? Love you? I curse the day I gave birth to you.
Oof.
Night after night, I lie awake in bed, thinking.
Well,
ways to
I'm
put an
assuming
end to
you know how this is going to end up right here.
Put an end to you. And you want to know why, Anthony? Because you are a bad man.
Ooh.
A very bad man. The worst that ever lived.
Mom, I'm warning you.
You are a monster. A spoiled, vicious monster. And if anybody deserves to be in the cornfield, it's you! Audrey, do it. Wish him away. Do it now. Do it now!
Audrey?
Audrey, what are you waiting for?
I can't hurt Daddy.
Oh.
No!
Oof.
I heard her. She was thinking mean things about me. They all are. They all don't like me. None of them do. Even Timmy. They're all bad, sneaky people.
Audrey.
So I'm guessing the mother's probably the devil. Just saying.
We don't need them, Daddy. We don't need anyone.
There you go. Problem solved. Now, Daddy better think happy thoughts, right? So, in a world with no anybody, how does power stay on? Listen, never mind. That's too deep.
Daddy?
I don't know. Just a little lonely, I guess.
I bet I know it would cheer you up.
What would that be?
Airplane. I brought it all back so you won't be lonely anymore.
What? You brought what back?
Everything. All the different countries, the cities. You think we could visit New York?
New York's a big place. Lots of people.
Yeah, and they all better be nice to us, or you know what we'll do to them.
Oh.
Excuse me. You folks know the way to Highway 10?
And after New York, we can visit all kinds of places.
See, there's never going to be a bounce in any forest. Don't even try. Stop it, Lucas, or them. Stop that.
It'll be fun. You'll see.
Hey, buddy, you Jeff?
Yo, the little douchebag, come help me.
Now, Daddy.
You bet I am, buddy. It's gonna be a good day. Real good day.
A plant murderer coming.
No lesson to be learned here. No morals to be taught. Just an update from Peaksville, Ohio, where Anthony and Audrey Fremont want you to think happy thoughts. And you better do as you're told. Otherwise, you might wind up in that cornfield known as the Twilight Zone.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions, but that was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. I hit a bunch of other buttons. Dang it. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm having mouse issues. Can you bring me down, please, while I try to find my mouse? Okay, I found my mouse. I got it. There we are.
I had never seen that. I'd heard of it, but for whatever reason, I never sought it out to watch it.
Oh, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. That sounds good. Teamwork and all that, right?
Good shit.
You guys are getting it, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so they have the copyright on it, so there you go. Somehow we got away with that. Pretty epic.
Yeah, I wonder who owns it. I can look that up after we're off the air. I want to find out who owns that version of the Twilight Zone.
Whoever it doesn't own it, I guess. But hopefully it'll get dinged for it 100 years down the line, because I don't own it. Never said I did. Just said it's copyright free. That's all I said. I would never own anything so cool because I'm not that old. Just saying. All right. My disclaimer. Oh, shit.
Whoops. I'm trying to upload a couple more pictures.
It just sounds like a new intro to Moving On Up. You know, oh shit, moving on up. These days I'll become cool, guys. But that's after I jump the shark. I know that much.
You're having a private party over there.
I'm waiting for you to figure out what you're going to do.
3, hang on. What in the fuck happened here? I already have that. 103.
Welcome to the third hour of the Fox Zone.
Okay,
Stop, bird. Yelling. All right, you got your bearings there. Chance, you got it.
Oh,
you see legs?
Shit.
I guess not. Oh my god. Sorry about that, everybody. I thought that was a stereo cough. You're welcome, and I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. What's the prognosis there? He's over here doing calculations. I think he's supposed to do the
I'm
time
just
warp.
uploading a couple more pictures real quick.
All right.
I had to delete photos to add these.
Yeah. That's 100. It's a bitch number, isn't it?
Okay, now I can get them all in there. All right, 108,
All right.
106. All right.
All right.
So I was showing the volume 3 of the Laserdisc set for my collection. I just want to show the back cover of it. This thing, StreamYard limits me to 100 photos, and I put way too many photos in. That's the volume 3 Twilight Zone Laserdisc set. There's the back cover.
Oof, that's nice.
Isn't it? I love the artwork on them. Look at that skull.
Yeah. That's just great.
Inside pamphlet. Front, inside pamphlet. I took individual pictures of this one so you could see the individual episodes a little bit more clear.
Yeah, it was like a really good CD, albums came with all that kind of shit, and records obviously did as well. But like I said, as an adult, I can appreciate this. The concept of Laserdisc is still dumb, but like this kind of stuff, oh yeah, I appreciate this.
It's like vinyl, I mean, these things, they took better care in terms of the production value, I think.
Well,
this is by 20th Century Fox, and this is before DVD. This was like 1993, I believe. I just love this set. I'm gonna put that up again. So cool. Very, very cool. I have so many laser discs. Oh my god, tons of laser discs in my
collection. Need to do a show on laser discs alone.
Yeah, right on.
And then I'll just keep talking about 7th grade. And 7th grade, and everybody shut about 7th grade. I'm like, 7th grade. Yeah.
So what to review? This is a show we did about the Twilight Zone. It was Sarah's idea. I thought it was a good one, and I may even do a show about Twilight Zone on my show Friday. Pull some other stuff up. And I didn't have enough time to take all the photos. I wanted to of things in my collection, so I'm thinking about doing that maybe.
Well, we can do part 2.
If I do a show Friday at all, I don't even know if I'm going to go live Friday. I could use a week off, but maybe I will. So I want to acknowledge a couple birthdays. Happy 71st birthday to Richard Dean Anderson, who was born on Monday, January 23rd, 1950. We're already into the January 24th as we're live, but he was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Of course, he's best known as the original MacGyver. Happy birthday. And he was in Stargate also, the TV version.
Well, my dad's birthday was Saturday. He turned 70.
Happy birthday to Sarah's dad.
Yeah, he's most important in my life. He's my #1 celebrity. Just saying. Without him, there would be no me, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but happy birthday, Dad.
And sad news, Charles Osgood died. He was a CBS newsman. Heard about that. But Gil Gerard, man, he turned 81 back on January 23rd. He was a TV one-hit wonder because he played Buck Rogers in the 25th Century for a couple of years. And did you know he was married to Connie Selica until 1987, and then she took up with John Tesh. But yeah, he was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and born on Saturday, January 23rd, 1943. He lives in the Atlanta, Georgia area now. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. And then the other day, we talked about this earlier in the show with our friend Al Hardy. 56 years ago, back on January 22nd, 1968, over 56 years ago, Laugh-In debuted as a 1-hour weekly show, Monday nights at 8. Throughout its 6 seasons, it always ran on Monday night at 8 o'clock. And it really began, there was a special on September 9th, 1967 on NBC, and the ratings were so strong and the buzz was so positive that it was given a green light to be a weekly series. And I discovered the show on Nick at Night. Nick at Night aired the half-hour version, like the syndicated version where they cut the 1 hour into half an hour. And they ran it Nick at Night starting in 1988. And that's where I discovered the show. And I just thought it was the bee's knees, as they say. And so I want to play a clip of Buck Rogers. And this is one that's approved. You don't have to worry, Sarah.
I worried. It's Buck Rogers.
This is a trailer. They released Buck Rogers theatrically a full 6 months before the show even debuted in September 1979 on NBC. And so I'm going to play a little bit to honor Gil Gerard's birthday. Let's watch a little bit. Is that all right, Sarah?
Pretty, please play.
Bitty, bitty. Bitty, bitty, bitty.
Remember the little android?
I know, that's what I just did.
We both did. All right, let's watch
Yeah.
it.
In the year 1987, at Cape Kennedy, NASA launched the last of America's deep space probes. Aboard this compact starship, a lone astronaut, Captain William Buck Rogers, was to experience cosmic forces beyond all comprehension. His trajectory was disrupted by an explosion. In the wink of an eye, his life support systems were frozen by temperatures beyond imagination. Ranger 3 was blown out of its planned trajectory. Buck was frozen by elements so instantaneous and perfect that he was fully preserved and living when found by the forces of the Draconian army and taken aboard the King's flagship Draconia.
Where am I?
You were aboard the King's flagship Draconia, under command of the Royal Princess Ardala, on its way to Earth on a peace mission.
Oh.
Give him something for his discomfort.
Oh. Are you a real live princess?
I think we've given our captain a little too much medication.
We're going home. Great. Where's that? On Earth. All right.
Put down the backgammon boards and put away the cards. Lucky Buck is back.
This is quite a setup.
It's Colonel Daring, commander of Earth's defenses. Take this barbarian in for interrogation.
Hey, wait a minute. Captain Buck Rogers, you are now in the 25th century.
I think I will have that right now. Are you familiar with rock? No.
What are you doing?
It's called getting down. It's a little before your time, if it frightens you.
What is it? What's going on?
Ships. They simply explode.
That's impossible.
Captain, you stay out of this.
Try and stop me. Watch out, Major, on your tail.
Captain Rogers, I ordered you to stay out of this.
Girl, you need all the help you can get.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century. From Universal Pictures.
You will never have those 3 minutes of your life back again. But
you say it, look at that's a bad thing.
Happy birthday to Gil Gerard, the TV one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
And at one point, he blew up to over 300 pounds. He had to have gastric bypass surgery. He had a problem with cocaine, reportedly, and he turned to unhealthy proportions of junk food, it says in this article.
Wow.
That article.
That's
I met him in Tampa, Florida at 2006. He's a very nice person.
Wow. So I won't
In
make any
person.
jokes.
He's extremely nice. But no, he got humongous, but then, like I said, now I don't know what he
That's
looks
what
like.
she
I
said.
wish him well. I mean, touche. What did I say on Gil?
That's what he said.
Yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Gil. Where is that article? He's 81. 81 years old. 81 years young.
Good night, SS. Thanks for coming, girl.
But yeah, he just didn't. Let's see. His first credit was in 1971. Some of My Best Friends Are. That's the name of a movie. Some of My Best Friends Are. He was in Airport 77. which, you know, that was the base. That's where Airplane came from. Airplane 2 was a parody of those airport movies, of course. Everybody knows that.
No.
He didn't do much, you know. It just, you know, I don't know what he did outside of acting to survive, but what did I see? All right. Gil Gerard has been frank about his battle with addictions. Although he went through recovery for his addiction to cocaine and alcohol, following his divorce from Connie Selica in 1987, his compulsive eating habits increased, and he would find himself devouring unhealthy portions of junk food. By 1988, he weighed 300 pounds and used a self-help treatment for his addiction, though he estimated that his weight problem had cost him work opportunities in the region of millions of dollars. All right, well, God bless him. Let's see.
Yeah.
Now, what else did I have for you?
I don't know.
Let's see if anything's going on in chat. Oh, one of your friends has come in. Sunstormy saying good night. Yeah, I know. I hit a brick wall with that one. Rogers. Oh, my eyes are burning. I can't stay up. I'll try. I'll be listening with my eyes closed. We're gonna wrap it up pretty soon, right, Sarah? Or did you have anything else you wanted to?
Well, I was just, instead of playing a normal outro, I was gonna play Fish Heads for my dad's birthday, and then end the show that. So
excellent. Well, I'll save. I had a clip, but I'll save it, I guess, for my show if I do one Friday about Twilight Zone. It was an interview with Rod Serling, because we never really heard him except for his intros to the next week's episodes. But it's a 4-minute clip. Should I nix it, or do you want to hear it?
You know what? Go ahead. Let's just play it. It's fine.
We're going to wrap the show, folks. It's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. It's just past 10 Pacific time.
Play this. Talk a few.
All right, and then I'll shut the fuck up and you take us with whatever you want to do, babe. All right, here we go.
NBC will have a movie on Monday in prime time, thereby giving us a movie every night of the week. That'll be 3 nights for NBC, 2 for CBS, and 2 for ABC. And I predicted that very shortly the 3 networks would petition Congress to change the week to 9 days so that each of them could have 3 nights. But to go along with that point, I believe some national group predicted that we were heading for a national nervous breakdown, the anxieties and so forth. Now, when you put on an old movie, it's possible that it'll be a movie made about some social problem, but a problem that was contemporary 6, 7, 10, 15 years, 20 years ago. And that makes it safe.
Oh, no question.
And again, this is the kind of programming that television, national television seems to be, this escapist type.
Mm-hmm. It's reminiscent of television in its early days, when indeed there was certainly a race problem in those days. It wasn't out in the street. It wasn't loud in our ears. It wasn't infesting our gut, our conscious gut, as it is today. But by God, there was anguish amongst minorities then, as there is now.
I remember that play you wrote, "The Town Turned to Dust."
Oh, yeah, well, you see, then you assaulted the straw men who were acceptable as minority groups. Mexicans, American Indians, Eskimos, beaten down, downtrodden peasants under the Tsar. These were the minorities, but not the Negro. Now, consequently, I think the purpose, the point of a dramatic show, which is used as a vehicle of social criticism, is to involve an audience, to show them wherein their guilt lies, or at least, indeed, their association. But when you're talking about a bunch of cavalrymen knocking off a bunch of poor redskins and putting them into a reservation, the audience need to have no association, certainly no guilt. How many Indians have they pushed into a reservation? But if indeed you talk about a denial of a man putting his garbage can next to yours, whether he's fought in Vietnam or wherever, by virtue of his color, now you're getting into a universal guilt, which they should feel, or at least in part understand.
You can extend that and dilate around a very important
By a long shot. I'm not suggesting that we suddenly develop a gigantic school of protest here, or of social comment, in which we preoccupy ourselves with commentative drama, this sort of thing. But I do believe the nature of the times now demand that television takes positions, that it exposes both sides of controversy. I've yet, for example, I keep thinking this awful thing, not to inject a political note into this, but I have a feeling we're dealing with a faceless enemy in terms of the Vietnamese. At least when Jack Warner ran Warner Brothers, I knew what a Japanese soldier looked like, albeit a cartoon version. He had gigantic teeth and myopic vision, and he ran around assaulting nuns and torturing Clark Gable. And indeed, the Nazi was the unregenerative animal with a whip. And he pointed with the whip for these 1,000 to go into that gas chamber and so and so. Now television gives us Hogan's Heroes. And next year, I suppose it'll be the Merry Men of Auschwitz.
Yes.
And a big a dance thing on the Death March of Bataan.
Yeah, ballet maybe.
A ballet of that sort. You see, I think this is a distortion. Now, when we're talking about, if indeed they want to have the temerity to suggest what is a moment in American history or world history, do it properly.
But you know, one thing
You may have to tell them a story of prejudice in parable form, in
Yeah.
which they may step aside as third persons and cluck and say, how awful we treat our minority groups. But at least they know that it's an evil, and they will recognize it as such. And by osmosis or some incredible process, will somewhere along the line be faced with a situation in which they too may have to exercise a prejudice and be conscious of it as an evil. Now, on Twilight Zone, for example, done during just as timorous a time as any other time, we made a comment on prejudice, on conformity, on intolerance, on censorship. But it's easy to do it when you're talking about Buck Rogers isn't allowed to write his memoirs in the way he wants to write them.
Yes.
So he puts on his backpack, his rocket pack, and he zooms over to the publisher. And they applaud and laugh and think how exciting and interesting. Now, it may well be that the inner message may never get through, but I think peripherally it does get through.
I myself am not.
All right. Well, they cut off the hillbilly response, but oh well. He was a chain smoker, as you could see. I mean, reportedly he would smoke like 5 packs a day. Rod Serling.
Right.
But he was a genius. It's kind of a deep clip, but I just love listening to Rod Serling talk. He was just a genius.
Definitely.
What do you think?
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying. I need to go help my dad here soon. Yeah. Sorry. No, it's sorry. I just answered my dad. So yeah.
Oh, he passed, by the way, in June 28th, 1975. Rod
my
Serling.
dad. Yeah, okay, yeah.
No, Rod Serling.
Because my dad, you're like, oh, and he passed. I'm like, no.
No. He was only 50. He died at the age of 50.
Right.
In Rochester, New York, Rod Serling did.
All right. Can you go back to my brand so I can play the?
Oh shit, yes. And then I want to show you a gift I have for you. All right, I'm not touching shit.
No, go to my brand, please. Send me to my brand.
Oh, you mean put in Sarah's?
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you. That's much appreciated.
It's only your show.
Well, thank you. That's why I said please. I said please. Please. Okay. Show the thing you're gonna show.
Hey, me?
Yeah, you.
I'm not going to play any more clips, but I was going to show you an item, and I want to show you a gift I have for you.
Right. Go ahead.
Say something, because I got to upload 2 quick photos, but they're all ready to go. I need you to stall for me, so I got to go into the fucking brand real quick, just in the photos real quick. I'm sorry. It'll be worth it, I hope.
You're killing me, Chance. That's cool. Go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you went through with the weather and the flooding and everything. I know you touched on it earlier, but
well, I mean, I didn't go outside
settle down in
to
Southern
see.
California.
Well, yeah, there's no rain today. Thank goodness. We got a little bit of dry spell there, but yeah, there's been quite a bit of flooding around. But where I live, floods a lot anyways. So I know the Wood Street Bison is always flooded. It probably was super flooded last night and yesterday because that was just downpour we had for like 3 hours or something like that. I'm not sure. But it just kept going and going. And there was thunder and lightning. And, I have skylight in here. The birds were all like, about it. And I'm like, oh, poor birdies. So, it was, then the power was, like I said, internet for a little bit. Internet went out. So I had, the phone for a little bit there. But I'm trying to save the battery of my phone because in case power goes out, right? Because, yeah. Anyways, and then it goes away. And then, everything seems to stabilize. And, the night.
Well, I'm glad your power didn't go out because like you said, your dad's on a ventilator, and that would suck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously that's an understatement, but I'm
right,
glad it all worked out.
It was so low.
So, I have something for you. Let me go get it.
Okay. Cool. I mean, oh. I have to get back here.
Since you're in Southern California, I wanted to give you a Atlanta, Georgia souvenir, and we're both nerdy. So the shirt I have on, I got you one. This is from the Atlanta Comic Convention I went to last Sunday. It's a one-day show. They have it every quarter, every 3 months since 1992. It's the longest running convention in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I don't know if you can see this. There's great artwork on the front.
It's just over my boob nicely.
Kind of hard to see. Let me see. Can you see it?
Kind of.
Not really. Anyway.
Kind of.
I'll mail it to you. Take a look. I mean,
thanks. I appreciate that. It's super cool, man. Over one boob, maybe two. If I
at that show, you know this. I want to talk about some cool items I got. I want to show you these 2 comic books I got at that comic show.
Oh, nice.
I collect primarily Marvel comic books, 1961 to 1993 ish, and then I do have some DC, some Independents. But I'm trying to build an entire comic book library. That's why you see all these books behind me. Here, let me make myself big.
Can you
well,
do it?
You can see them. You can see them right there. I guess that's good enough. See, those are all comic book boxes. Let me get my other camera shot, and then I'll get to the point. I'll get to the point. Wait a second. That's a better shot. And you see my Twilight Zone laser disc and things I've been featuring tonight with sweet Sara.
Thank you.
Now let me figure out how to make myself unbig. All right.
Thank you.
So I found these 2 books because I had the one on the right when I was a kid. My mom got that for me, and I lost it over the years. That Bionic Woman issue 1, and
I don't have it. I did write all over it. Okay, we're good.
The weird thing is, the image on the left looks like the actress Lindsay Wagner who played the Bionic Woman, but on the right it looks nothing like her. But apparently it's the same artist that drew it. So I don't know what that's all about.
Oh, it's like Bewitched.
I'm talking about on the right, Bionic Woman, the red one.
Right, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It looks like
I meant on the red cover. You see the image on the left of the face, the blonde face, the artwork. That looks like the actress Lindsay Wagner, but on the right, where she's thumping the dude, facial image looks nothing like the actress. I just think that's interesting. How I don't know why or what the reason is, but
that's what I'm saying. I think.
It's
strange. Not much of what I was saying because I got my listen.
It's like the artist didn't even try to make it look like Lindsay on the right.
Right? Yeah, but whatever. I don't know. Artists do that kind of thing. I don't really know why either. Because it's easier to draw like less pixel face. I don't know.
Now the significant thing about the image on the left from Bewitched, which is obviously a photo cover, is notice it says Tabitha. And it's spelled Tabatha. That was the original way the character's name was spelled. After season 2, the character's introduced in season 2 when Samantha was pregnant. She gave birth to Tabitha, then later Adam, but that's besides the point. And they spelled it Tabitha and Tabatha. But for some reason, and I did some research on this, in season 3, the spelling was changed to Tabitha, Tabi. Isn't this just earth-shattering news? But look at the merchandising. There's the actress who played Tabitha. It was twins initially, Diane and Aaron Murphy. And then as they grew older, they looked less and less alike. So they just had one of the twins play the character solo. But look at the spelling, Tabitha. And in the end credits of the first episode where Tabitha's born, it says, and introducing Tabitha. Spelled Tabatha. So I thought it was cool to get a comic book. I'd never seen a comic book with the spelling, the original spelling. Now, according to some fans of Bewitched, they claim it was Elizabeth Montgomery who asked them to change the spelling, which I don't know if I buy that. I mean, I thought it figured to be a licensing problem. Like maybe the deal went sour with whomever made the doll and the merchandising for Tabitha. And so they had to change it, for a legal formality. I don't know.
A name from Tabitha.
The spelling of it, the spelling, not change. But I mean, I think when you change the spelling, it's as if you're changing the name. Maybe it was to get out of a licensing deal. I don't know. But all these, hang on a second. God dang it. So all these people, let me see if I can find the actual quote. I think it's interesting. I'm a TV historian.
No, it's good stuff. It's just the way you said it. It sounded like you were saying whatever the heck I just said. Anyways.
What?
What? Dude, You know, one of my favorite Star Trek TNG episodes is A Fistful of Datas. And you just said like Brent Spiner right there doing the what?
Let me see if I can fucking find it. Hang on. Oh God.
Fistful of
This
Datas.
Bewitched group I was in, it's all filled with spam. Hang on a second.
Group I'm in, it's all spam. That's just so funny.
Excuse my friend. Okay, I found it. All right.
I already
All
have
right.
it.
All right.
Theoretical power. They put spam in there.
All right. Oh, hell. Two people had answered me. It was Liz Montgomery that requested the change. Okay, well, I don't know if I want to take these. I said, can you please cite the source? Oh, it was an article I read somewhere. Okay, well, what do you think? Should I take their word for it?
You're asking me a question?
Yeah, I'm asking you a question.
I'm sorry. I thought you were on the ranch or something, so I kind of tuned out for a minute. What was the question?
The question is, do you think that it was Liz Montgomery who said change the name of Tabitha? Oh, here it is. I found it. It's a miracle. I found it. Okay.
Okay,
Let
cool.
me find.
The answer is what that thing says, baby.
Someone said, it's just that Liz Montgomery preferred the name spelled that way. That makes no sense. It's already been established in the credits and everything, and the merchandising. It's Tabatha, not Tabitha. So I said, really, do you have a source? Is this from a book? And then this person replied, I read it somewhere. I'll see if I can find it. And so I said, no, I believe you. I just think it's strange of Liz to demand that change. And then the person said, this is not the original article that I read, but it's in a similar vein. And then it says, this is online. It was just like, copied and pasted. Tabitha is how the Bewitched character Tabitha Stevens' name was spelled during the first couple of seasons. No, second season. She wasn't in season 1. It was season 2, the last black and white season. So already I think this article might be bullshit.
Oh, AI wrote it.
Name
the first couple they gotta do is show on the AIs and how crappy they are.
Yeah. Tabitha, Tabatha, is how the Bewitched character Tabitha Stevens' name was spelled during the first couple of seasons of the show she appeared in. Later, the spelling was changed to Tabitha, Tabitha. Elizabeth Montgomery, who played the character's mother, Samantha Stevens, suggested the name Tabitha for her TV daughter, but it was misspelled as Tabatha. They fixed this a few seasons later. No, it was the next season. Okay, I'm flag on the field. I don't believe this. Montgomery has stated that she disliked the Tabitha spelling. All right, and there's no source. There's no name associated with this. I'm calling bullshit. I don't believe it. I think it was a merchandising issue. It just makes more sense. It was a business reason why they changed the spelling. Either that or someone in the crew simply fucked up. And there was no continuity. So
continuity. Oh my god. Oh man. You know how many times I have continuity in Star Trek? Oh my god, they would kill me.
I know. But I mean, it's just so dumb how, it was originally spelled one way, and then they changed it the very next season 3, the first color season. Anyway, I know nobody cares. I'm just a TV historian. Always have my ducks in a row, my facts absolutely correct. I hate it when people make mistakes that claim to be like historians and they misspell things. They have the dates wrong. Anyway, it's just a pet peeve of mine.
Listen, I'm a giggle historian. I giggle at all stories and giggles. Historians. All right, there you go.
Oh, and then I got this book at the comic book show Sunday, the Atlanta Comic Con.
But he said,
I didn't take a photo of it, but this is kind of a cool book. Welcome to the comic book show, folks. Where's my camera? Oh, I got to put my other camera on real quick.
This is the Chance Geek Out Hour. Enjoy.
We're winding down, but it's Daredevil issue number 18. This is the first appearance of this character, the Gladiator. And I already have it, but this was a steal of a price. I figure this guy's may show up in the Daredevil streaming show on Disney Plus. But once that materializes. But anyway, I bought it. It was in good condition. It was only $10. It was only $10. So
can I write my manifesto over it for you?
Like the angry friend Vandal. Yeah.
But this one would be your friendly co-host Vandal.
For those that don't know, look up "angry girlfriend variant" on Google, and you'll see a Newsweek article.
or also that article's actually linked, I think, in the thing.
God
but the show we did, our first official show of the year, yeah, the 5-hour one, it's in there. We talk about that
It's
too.
in there. Yeah, we don't need to rehash it. Yeah, enough about me. Fucking motor mouth over here. So,
well, no, that's why we did a million-hour show, so we have a reference point, so people can go back and reference.
Oh yeah, I want to look
every show to remember the time. Like, yeah, no, we remember that time. That'd be boring. We don't want to be boring.
No, I'm already boring. I was born boring. Let me find.
Except for all that.
Excuse me. Daredevil issue.
Squeezed.
Marvel. I want you to know, Sarah, and your listeners and viewers of your channel, when that book first came out, Daredevil 18, first appearance of the Gladiator, May 3rd, 1966. That's when that hit newsstands and comic book spinner racks originally. May 3rd, 1966, with a July 66 cover date. It was always 3 months ahead of real time for circulation purposes. So there you go. That goes back quite a ways.
So what do you want me to write on it for you?
Hey, to bring it all together, that would have been the same time frame. That would have been during season 2 of Bewitched. That would have been right around, that book came out right around when Tabitha was born on Bewitched. Now I got to look that up, the air date. I want to know how close it was. I mean, I didn't plan it that way, but I got to look it up now.
It's cosmic around here, man. What are you talking about?
And I'm not, and I'm the one that's not high. The only one watching or on the panel that's not high. Well, Al Hardy wasn't high. I'm sober. I've not had alcohol in days. I have a doctor's appointment, a routine physical tomorrow. I can't smoke. I can't drink. I can't do anything. So she was born. And then there were 3 is the title. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm looking at my little episode guide.
Where is Pumpkin Hero?
Season 2 of Bewitched.
Sorry, something just popped in my head.
Oh,
sorry.
Speaking of Bill Mooney, whom we featured in that It's a Good Life and the sequel, he was the only actor besides Dick York and Dick Sargent to play Darren Stevens on Bewitched. He was the 3rd actor in an episode called Junior Executive from season 2. Endora zapped Darren into a child or a young person. Like, I think he was supposed to be 11 years old or 12. And Bill Mooney played Darren. And that was during season 1 of Lost in Space when it was in production. I guess Bill Mooney had the week off from Lost in Space and he did this Bewitched. And there would be episodes of Lost in Space in season 1 where like there'd be no Will or no Penny, you know, like just 1 per season. And you knew it was because the actor was guest starring somewhere else. Because those guys worked to death back then. Let me see. Where the hell is that episode? And then there were 3. January 13th, 1966. January 13th, 66 is when Tabitha was born on the show.
Oh, crap. She's very yawned. Well,
I know. It's boring. It's boring. I know.
I know, man.
History's boring.
It's just not boring. It's just I yawned. It's the first yawn of the season.
So, so that Daredevil came out about 4 months and a week after the appearance of Tabitha. Big deal. And that comic book's cool. That Bewitched cover. I should have taken a solo picture with a clown. Where is it? There. Look at the clown on the left on the Bewitched cover.
Clown. Oh, on the shirt?
In the crib.
Oh,
it's a clown.
Yeah, no, I
Are you scared of clowns, Sarah? Are you scared of clowns?
I hang out with you, so apparently not.
Oh, zing.
Your retort is what?
I have no comment. Chance the bunny. I love it. I do have a bunny. Flag on the field. There was a flag in the field. That's bullshit. I don't believe that Liz Montgomery made them change the spelling. She was a nice person by all accounts, and she liked to drink and have fun. And Bernie Capel, who later played the Doc on Love Boat, he was on Bewitched a lot. And he told a story on the Reels Bewitched documentary in April of 2023. It aired, and I have it on my DVR still. It was great. And he told a story about how Liz Montgomery said, "Hey, Bernie, want to have a drink?" And he says, "What, with you?" And she goes, "Yeah." And they went to her dressing room. And then she goes, "You want another?" And he goes, Liz, I still have lines. I still have scenes to perform. And she goes, it'll make it more fun. So she liked the party. I like that. I like Liz Montgomery. God bless her. She passed away in 1995, sadly, from cancer. But I love him telling that story. You mean with you? Have a drink with you? Yeah. I love that story. I would have loved to have known her and partied with her. Anyway. So let me take that off the screen, that comic book. We now return control of the My Flock show to you, Sarah.
Okay,
until next week at the same time when Sarah will take you to the My Flock limits.
All right, so I'll just put myself in my own brand then, I guess, huh?
I'll do it for you.
Oh, cool, thanks. That'd be epic. That's probably the safer thing right now. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, let me go down here. This is a special outro here for my dad's birthday. And this should hopefully go through just fine. Enjoy.
roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
In the morning, laughing happy fish heads. In the evening, floating in the soup.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
Ask a fish head anything you want to. They won't answer, they can't talk.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
I took a fish head out to see a movie. Didn't have to pay to get it in.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
They can't play baseball, they don't wear sweaters. They're not good dancers. They don't play drums.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
Roly-poly fish heads are never seen drinking restaurants with Oriental women. Fish heads, roly poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. Fish heads, roly poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. Fish heads, roly poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. Fish heads, roly poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. Yeah.
All right, so that's Barnes and Barnes, which was Billy Mummy singing.
Moomy, not Mummy, Moomy.
Yeah, you said Moomy, I said Moomy the whole time.
I felt like you said Mummy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I probably did, but that's because I have a speech impairment called right now. So, anyways, but yeah, therefore, thusly, what were we talking about? Oh, yes,
Your dad's birthday.
Yeah, so
Fish
that's
heads and Bill Moomy,
yeah, that's one of my my dad's favorite songs for sure. But, we love Dr. Demento and all that kind of stuff. And if you listen to Fistful of Radio, you will hear some of my playlists up there, and Fish Heads is one of them. There you go. And that's a plug for the radio, because you'll hear me there and Chance and other people and stuff and funny things. There you go. And then that guy's actual channel there, and did some other things, and there you go. That guy, the dude, the Chance. Fistful of Radio link is pinned at the top there, the chat, because they're all week. You're welcome. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm also a nerd, and I'll get paid for this either. But someday, but until then, I do have the radio on like all the time. So, I'm always listening to it, and that's how it is. I actually enjoy it. I wake up to quite a lot of funny things. So I wake up to my playlist, and I go, oh, Fish Heads. I know what's next. Another song or something, it's just, sometimes it's just funny. It's like I get a little personal alarm, and nobody knows it because now you guys do shit. Fuck. Oh well, sorry. Anyways, just saying, tune into the radio and then tune into this channel and tune into my channel for all the good times.
You see all the nice people that wish your dad a happy birthday in chat?
Yeah, they're my fucking family, man. I love them all.
I put
most
of the comments on the screen. I've been bad about the comments because I was so busy trying to upload pictures and stuff like that. So I'm sorry.
You should be on time or often for time.
I'll be better next time if Sarah invites me back.
You better make it this time, next time, all time, every time. Got the time? Cool.
I'm trying to get one more photo up before we say goodnight.
All right.
I was impressed. Somebody was talking about a bunny. I got to show my picture of my pet bunny rabbit. Nobody cares. I gotta put it up there real quick.
Thanks for telling me what you think there, ass. Anyways, I care if that means anything. And also, somebody
does. Of course, it matters. You're a nice person.
Oh, good.
You're a nice lady.
Yeah,
that's what Jackie Gleason used to say. Is the poor soul on Jackie Gleason show? You're a nice lady.
But yeah, or I forgot the hell I was going to say now. But anyways, Steve says, I love Chance with the rock symbol, man. Hell yeah. That's high praise there from Steve.
Appreciate it. I was afraid I was stinking up the show.
No, these are all highly minded people. Also, Steve's in Canada, so he's pretty hoser friendly. That's why he hangs out here.
Oh yeah, I love Canada. I love Canadian beer. I love Canadian bacon. I love Canadian women. I love everything. There's baby. There's my little bunny. She's a little sweetheart. Oh, how do I?
It looks like you can meet up with Steve. He'd be a good guy to meet up with out there in Canada.
Thank you, Steve. I do. The only thing I don't like is the cold of Canada. That's the only thing, but that has nothing to do with the people. And that's just
the people are not the weather. What?
Weather. That's right. That's right. But that's my little baby bunny. I found her when I was out for a walk in September 2021. I recognized she wasn't a wild bunny. She was timid, and I think someone just abandoned her. What the sad thing about bunny rabbits is people will adopt a bunny for Easter, and then after Easter's over, they'll abandon the bunny.
Because mommy and daddy were going to eat it the next day, but they decided to.
Oh, don't say that, man.
Chance of the
You're
Lambs
probably right.
didn't
But
happen.
I think she either escaped. I found her by a lake when I was out for a walk, and I never go out for a walk on a Friday night, but it was a Friday night, September 26th, I want to say 2021. Right. I was going for a walk, and then I saw that little bunny, and I was like, are you hungry? So I went home, got some lettuce, and then I was like, oh, I got to take this bunny home. Anyway, so she's a cute little pet. And I know you love your birds, Sarah.
Yeah, I do. Who told you?
You.
They? But me. I would never not say anything like that. Maybe I would. I don't know. Birds love you all.
I better hit it because I got to have a doctor physical in the morning, just a routine physical, and it's getting late. But
all right. Well, do you want to play us out with your outro? And then,
we could if you don't. Yeah, I have it right here. If
play it out with your outro, and then you end it at the thing.
Got it.
Thanks
to everybody for joining us. Thanks to all of Sarah's followers. If you like nostalgia, the Nostalgic Pod Blast is my YouTube channel. I'd appreciate if you hopped over there too, and give it a sub, or if you want to. You don't have to, of course, but that's my show. That's my logo.
Join each other's channels and suck suck all the content you can from everybody's channel. Gain knowledge, gain wisdom. There's something you can learn from anything. Do that.
I've been a geek since 1978. I mean, that's me with Darth Vader. All right. Anyway, enough about me. Let me end the show. Oh God, thanks for watching, everybody, and see you next time.